Chapter 1452. Azura Tiger's speed was faster than ordinary people. Even Imperial concubine Zhou couldn't completely capture Jiang Feng's movements. Bang, bang, bang. 3 consecutive moves hit Imperial concubine Zhou's sleeves. If it wasn't for Imperial concubine Zhou's strong internal energy, her sleeves would have been torn apart. Even so, Imperial concubine Zhou looked like she was in danger. Even Wang Yue was a little worried. Imperial concubine Zhou. She wouldn't be defeated like this, right? This was the invincible Imperial concubine Zhou. Her future master. Junior sister. At this time, a senior sister secretly came to Wang Yue's side. Senior sister Lu. Why are you here? Seeing this senior sister, Wang Yue was a little uneasy. The people here were spies from the villa. If they saw that she was in contact with a Mei sect, wouldn't she be dead for sure? What are you afraid of? Are you a thief? Senior sister Lu fiercely glared at Wang Yue. Master is looking for you. Come here quickly. Oh, on one side, Imperial concubine Zhou and Jiang Feng were fighting fiercely. On the other side, Wang Yue was following her senior martial sister Lu towards an empty courtyard. Senior sister Lu, why is master looking for me? Wang Yue was a little curious and looked around. But this small courtyard seemed to be very quiet. Why did master come to this place to find her? Go in. Seeing Wang Yue looking around in front of the moon gate, senior sister Lu seemed a little impatient. She pushed her from behind and pushed her into the courtyard. Wang Yue stumbled and fell into the courtyard. When she looked up, she saw her senior sisters standing in the courtyard, looking at her strangely. Some of them looked at her with disdain, some had fierce eyes, and some covered their mouths and laughed. In short, no one showed any concern for him. The people here didn't seem to be her senior sisters, but her enemies. Senior sister Lu. You, what are you doing? Wang Yue asked, trembling with fear. Bah, who is your senior sister? Senior sister Lu sneered and glared fiercely at Wang Yue. You traitor of a Mei, how dare you call me senior sister? Senior sister Lu. I'm not a traitor. Wang Yue was so anxious that her tears fell. It was master who asked me to come to the villa. Don't you all know? Know what? Master was just muddle-headed for a moment. Did you take it seriously? Senior sister Lu pursed her lips. I don't think so. An older woman at the side suddenly said this, causing the female disciples of a Mei sect to be shocked. Eldest senior sister, why are you? Senior sister Lu thought to herself, this is the eldest senior sister. Her words carry a lot of weight among the disciples. Why couldn't she protect this girl today? That would be troublesome, right? However, Wang Yue had always been isolated in the sect. When did she manage to climb up to eldest martial sister's high branch? From what I can see, master has a regretful look on her face today. She must be testing this girl to see if she is loyal to a Mei. If this lass is really loyal and devoted, why would she listen to a single sentence and come to the Seven Knights Villa? Eldest senior sister coldly looked at Wang Yue. Why is master so regretful? Why is she disappointed? It's because she wrongly accepted this ungrateful wretch. Eldest senior sister is right. Senior sister Lu nodded repeatedly. She almost clapped and cheered. Wang Yue looked at them and felt that something was wrong. She panicked even more. No, it's not like that. I'm not a traitor. I'm helping master get the true immortal art. Wang Yue explained, but the female disciples around her did not listen to her at all. What are you doing? I'm a spy sent by master. If I can't get the true immortal art, master will die. Nonsense. Master is at the prime of his life. How can he die? That's right. Master said those words to test you. When you heard that master can't be relied on, you betrayed the sect. Today, we're going to clean up the sect. The female disciples of a Mei sect surrounded Wang Yue, not allowing her to escape. Wang Yue, even though you're a traitor, Amei's sect has always placed righteousness and benevolence above all else. We're all from the same sect, so we won't kill you. Senior Sister Lu had a smug and cold smile on her lips. We'll only cripple the martial arts you learned in Amei's sect. Then, you'll have nothing to do with Amei's sect. No. Don't cripple my martial arts. Senior sisters, I'm begging you, I'm begging you. Wang Yue was so scared that she cried, but no one pitied her. Master had the intention to take Wang Yue back to his side. Regardless of whether he returned early or if Wang Yue returned with the true immortal art, it would not benefit the senior sisters at all. Hence, they had to make a prompt decision to lure Wang Yue out and cripple her martial arts so that she would lose the right to fight for the position of sect leader. Forget it. Junior sister is still young. Let's give her a chance. When the eldest senior sister saw Wang Yue's evasiveness, her heart softened. Eldest senior sister, eldest senior sister, how can you let a tiger grow in your bosom? The sisters started shouting. Eldest senior sister, sob sob sob, Wang Yue could not help but cry. There were still people who cared about her. Come, youngest junior sister, stand behind me. The eldest senior sister pulled Wang Yue over. Just when Wang Yue was about to relax, the eldest senior sister suddenly extended a finger and poked Wang Yue's acupuncture point. Wang Yue's body immediately went limp, and she felt the true qi in her body continuously flowing out. Bitch, I've poked your qi, see. From now on, you're useless. The eldest senior sister's expression turned cold, and she looked at her junior sister with disgust. Stay in 7 Chivalry Villa and be a good dog. The senior sisters laughed, but Wang Yue collapsed to the ground. Her tears flowed uncontrollably, wetting the ground. Why are you crying? At this moment, a reprimanding voice came from the side. How can someone from 7 Chivalry Villa cry in front of outsiders? How shameful. As the voice spoke, a ponytailed girl with a 7 Chivalry sword guard walked over. Wang Xiaoran, the leader of the 7 Chivalry Sword Guards and a disciple of Li Fan. Wang Xiaoran, what are you doing here? The eldest senior sister saw her and felt slightly anxious. This is an internal matter of Amei sect. It's not up to an outsider like you to interfere. What a joke. Unlike Xia Ho, who dealt with diplomatic relations, Wang Xiaoran, as the leader of the 7 Chivalry Sword Guards, had never been polite to outsiders. She touched her sword and scolded, I'll teach you uneducated women a lesson. First, this is not Mount Amei, this is 7 Chivalry Villa. Second, this girl is a member of 7 Chivalry Villa. If you attack her, you'll be making an enemy of our villa. Chapter 1453. Wang Xiaoran's gaze sharpened, causing some of the Amei disciples to feel a little afraid. 7 Chivalry Mountain Villa, don't go too far. Grand senior sister mocked them just because she was from one of the 6 great sections. You're like clay bodhisattvas crossing the river. You can't even protect yourselves, and you still have the mind to meddle in our business? You can try. Wang Xiaoran's hand gently pulled out the sword from the scabbard. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. What a joke. Sisters, don't be afraid. We have a lot of people, and we're all elites of the sect. Why would we be afraid of this slut? Grand senior sister encouraged the others. There were at least 8 Amei disciples here. How could they lose to the captain of the 7 Knights Villa's guards? Moreover, the other party was only 18 or 19 years old. How powerful could he be? Although he was Li Fan's disciple, Li Fan had so many disciples. Were they all experts? If they really had such strength, the martial imperial palace would have long since been unified by them. How could it be the martial imperial palace's turn to seize power? Amei sect was a great sect that had existed for hundreds of years. How could it be weak? Today, they would let this bitch witness the power of their Amei swordsmanship. Quick! Frosty Snow Plum Blossom Sword. All the Amei disciples pulled out the swords on their backs and glared at Wang Xiaoran. In their eyes, even if Wang Xiaoran had some ability, she would not be a match for all of them. Wang Yuer felt a little hopeless. If it was Jiang Yi or Lu Xiaohu, they would definitely be able to save her. But how could Wang Xiaoran fight against senior sister and the others? However, Wang Xiaoran's body suddenly flashed and the long sword in her hand stabbed out continuously. In the blink of an eye, she arrived at the other side of the courtyard. Then, she slowly sheathed the long sword. When her treasured sword was completely sheathed, the disciples of Amei screamed in pain. Their wrists were stabbed and they could no longer hold on to their treasured swords, causing them to fall to the ground. Wang Yuer was dumbfounded. This was too exaggerated. Why were all the people in the Seven Knights Villa monsters like this? Looks like I'll spare your lives for the sake of Amei sect. Wang Xiaoran walked to Wang Yuer's side and lifted her up with one hand. She then warned the disciples of Amei sect. If there's a next time, I'll kill without mercy. After Wang Xiaoran finished speaking, she grabbed Wang Yuer and left. Leaving behind a group of injured Amei disciples, all of them looked as if they had lost their parents. Remember, you're one of us from now on. Don't follow anyone who calls for you. As Wang Xiaoran walked, she reminded Wang Yuer, since you've joined the Seven Knights Villa, you must have this awareness. I'm responsible for the safety of every disciple in the villa, but I can't control the idiots who send themselves to death. Wang Yuer remained silent, and no one knew what she was thinking. Her current state was as if the sky had collapsed. Will I be able to return to Mount Amei in the future? I'm afraid not. If that's the case, I might as well stay in the Seven Knights Villa. But, Wang Yuer, are you willing to lose to fate? Now that he had joined the Seven Knights Villa, he should learn some real skills. Eldest senior sister and the others wanted to kill him. Then let them see the price of provoking me. Senior sister, Wang Yue suddenly spoke. What is it? Say it. How should I become stronger? Practice hard. I want to become stronger faster. I want power. When Wang Yue spoke, her voice sounded very calm, but tears flowed from her eyes without stopping. Can you endure hardships? Wang Xiaoran was silent for a while, and suddenly thought of a place. I can. Wang Yue nodded without hesitation, no matter how hard it is. I will explain it to Elder Zhou. Wang Xiaoran nodded. As for the rest of the matter, she would leave it to Imperial Concubine Zhou. She was the training elder, and this title was well deserved. Because Imperial Concubine Zhou's Vairocana Heart Sutra could also absorb and imbue internal energy. As long as Imperial Concubine Zhou was willing, it wouldn't be a problem to imbue this little girl into a master. However, the meridians and dantian of the human body were slowly cultivated. If one forcefully imbued too much internal energy, it would cause harm to the body. It would be a very unbearable pain. Moreover, her master had always advocated that the disciples should cultivate bit by bit, so that they could obtain the corresponding combat experience at different stages. If it was like Jiang Feng, who seized other people's energy, even if he used it, there would be a lot of drawbacks. However, at this moment, Jiang Feng, through his powerful wisdom, forcefully grasped the power bestowed by the dragon god, and suppressed Imperial Concubine Zhou. Although the sun-blocking cloud catcher sleeve was very strong, under Jiang Feng's powerful attack, it was becoming more and more difficult to defend. What's wrong, Li Fan? Jiang Feng sneered at Chun, who was standing next to him. Are you going to hide behind a woman? This isn't like you at all. Chun, also didn't know what to say. This Jiang Feng's strength was too heaven-defying, especially today. It was really annoying. If even Imperial Concubine Zhou couldn't do anything to him, then what should they do? And Li Fan, who was sitting in the distance, was also a little anxious. Imperial Concubine Zhou actually couldn't beat Jiang Feng. If this continued, she would probably be injured. Although he couldn't use his strength right now, he couldn't let Jiang Feng be presumptuous. Dong, who was next to him, reached out and gently pressed Li Fan's thin shoulder. Young master, don't be impulsive, even if he rushed out, he wouldn't be able to help. Instead, he would only cause more trouble. This consort feels that you're happy too early. Imperial concubine Zhou's body suddenly erupted with a strong force, unexpectedly sending Jiang Feng's body flying. She stood there, patted the dust on her clothes, and said without a care, "This consort was just testing your depth. Your Azura tiger is indeed somewhat powerful. If it was a month ago, you might really be able to defeat this consort. But today, this consort's Vairocana Heart Sutra has been cultivated to the highest realm." While speaking, Imperial concubine Zhou's body began to emit a golden light. You probably don't know why this consort is called the Immortal Evil Buddha. Today, this consort will use the true Vairocana Heart Sutra to let you understand. While speaking, a golden imposing aura slowly appeared behind Imperial concubine Zhou's back. It was a golden Buddha, 5 meters tall, solemn, and exuding a Buddha's might. Seeing this Buddha, Yu Su and his fellow apprentices couldn't help but put their palms together and chant the name of Buddha. What's the use now? Jiang Feng was very confident in his own strength. He flashed forward and instantly appeared in front of Imperial concubine Zhou. Take this. At this time, Jiang Feng's internal force was completely activated. He was full of confidence that he could definitely kill Imperial concubine Zhou. Even if he couldn't kill Imperial concubine Zhou, he would still severely injure her, making Li Fan lose his right and left arm. Chapter 1454. Jiang Feng decided to cripple Li Fan's right-hand man in one go. This palm contained the most powerful force in his body. Azura Chi filled his right palm, and he ruthlessly slammed it toward the top of Imperial concubine Zhou's head. But Imperial concubine Zhou stood there indifferently. She didn't even move, and let Jiang Feng's palm fall on her head. At the same time, Imperial concubine Zhou raised her palm and hit Jiang Feng's lower abdomen. Bang! Jiang Feng's body directly flew out, but Imperial concubine Zhou was still standing there. Blood trickled down from the corner of her mouth, which she wiped away. In the exchange just now, Imperial concubine Zhou had transferred Jiang Feng's internal force to her hand, and then returned it to him. At this moment, Imperial concubine Zhou's internal injuries were very serious, and the transfer of internal force would naturally cause a certain degree of damage to her meridians. But Imperial concubine Zhou only needed one breath to heal her injuries. Therefore, only Imperial concubine Zhou could use this kind of suicidal method. This was the undying evil Buddha. It's a bit shameless. Jiang Feng fell to the ground, calmed his injuries, and couldn't help but smile bitterly. This kind of fighting style was really too shameless. And it was indeed a set of martial arts tailored for Imperial concubine Zhou. Undying evil Buddha, this title really wasn't for nothing. You're done, it's my turn. As Imperial concubine Zhou said this, she raised her hand and pointed in the air. A golden bell immediately appeared in the air. This bell was about 3 meters high, and covered with patterns of gods and Buddhas, and it smashed down toward Jiang Feng's head. Vairocana palm. When Wang Jin saw this palm technique, his eyes were filled with horror. This palm technique was created by Imperial concubine Zhou, but he had only heard a little about it. It was said that Imperial concubine Zhou had relied on her talent in turning illusions into reality to sweep through the martial world with the Vairocana palm that could create all things. Wang Zhini thought that this was just a rumor. After all, the Vairocana Heart Sutra should be a terrifying internal cultivation technique. If there was an external cultivation technique to support it, then wouldn't Imperial consort Zhou be a bit too terrifying? But the truth was in front of him, and he had no choice but to believe it. The golden bell fell from the sky and smashed down toward Jiang Feng. Jiang Feng didn't dare to face it head-on, and subconsciously slid back 7 or 8 meters. Rumble. The golden bell smashed heavily on the ground, creating a pit in the ground, and then slowly disappeared. Jiang Feng's body flashed, and he appeared behind Imperial concubine Zhou. At the same time, he attacked with both of his palms. It seemed as if he wanted to take her life. Attacking from behind, Imperial concubine Zhou couldn't use her rogue method to counterattack. However, a golden bell also appeared on Imperial concubine Zhou's body. It wrapped around her and blocked Jiang Feng's palms. Dang! The sound of a bell rang out from his palm, and Jiang Feng actually received a backlash from his own power, forcing him to take 2 steps back. What? Jiang Feng looked at his hands and then at Imperial concubine Zhou. The golden bell on her body was slowly dissipating. The golden light scattered in all directions like quicksand. The surrounding people cried out in surprise. With this kind of powerful strength, even if she was alone, the Seven Knights Villa would still be safe. Sure enough, even Jiang Feng couldn't help but take a few steps back. He had to reevaluate Imperial concubine Zhou and find a way to defeat her. This woman was indeed very strong, but she was not invincible. No matter who it was, no matter how powerful they were, they would still have their own weaknesses. I am a true genius. How can I not defeat this Imperial concubine Zhou? There must be a way. There must be. Jiang Feng's brain quickly turned, trying to find a way to solve this problem. This ability to turn illusions into reality was indeed very powerful. In addition, Imperial concubine Zhou's undying ability was really troublesome. With the Vairocana Heart Sutra and the Vairocana Palm, Imperial concubine Zhou was like a goddess of war. The Vairocana Palm was very powerful, and turning illusions into reality required a lot of internal energy. However, as long as Imperial concubine Zhou breathed, all the experts present would become her power bank. Not to mention others, even he himself was the same. Although 2 of his extraordinary acupuncture points had been sealed, with Imperial concubine Zhou's strength increasing to this level, his own internal energy was faintly unable to hold. It's time to give up. Imperial concubine Zhou directly said, with this empress here, no one can touch the Seven Knights Villa. Since Imperial concubine Zhou had the strength to say this, no one present could refute her. However, Jiang Feng was not willing to give up. Today was the right time, place, and people. If he couldn't obtain the true immortal art, then the next time he wanted to take it away, it would be even more difficult. Sect leaders, this is a critical moment. Why don't you all come up and lend me a hand? Jiang Feng didn't have any other choice. He could only use the last resort and began to call for help. If I can obtain the true immortal art, I will not keep it to myself. I am willing to share it with everyone. However, the people below only looked at him with enthusiasm in their eyes, but they didn't have the intention to come up. Jiang Feng knew that these people were afraid of Imperial concubine Zhou, and they didn't trust him. If he wanted them to help him, he was afraid that it would be very strenuous. Everyone. Don't you all want the true immortal art? After today, Li Fan and his Seven Knights Villa will take the true immortal art and flee overseas. That Li family island is their territory. When we get there, can we still ask for it back? Jiang Feng said word by word in a loud voice, the true immortal art is our China's treasure, a treasure of the martial arts world. Could it be that everyone is just going to watch as Li Fan takes it away? Commander Jiang, what you said is right. I will help you. Long Fengyu finally couldn't hold it in anymore. He immediately jumped onto the stage. This fatty Long is finally going to make his move. Although he was very shrewd, now was not the time to be calculating. If they really let Li Fan take away the true immortal art, then they would be finished. Especially now that Li Fan is still weak. They should take advantage of his illness to take his life. When this brat recovers, he and Imperial concubine Zhou will be no match for them in Jianghu. Immeasurable deity. Liangzi waved his horsetail whisk, ignoring his senior brother's obstruction, he also walked out. Protecting China's treasure is the responsibility of everyone in the martial arts world. Although this poor Taoist's strength is not good, I am willing to do my bit. Me too. Since Long Fengyu had stepped up, Long Bailey naturally would not fall behind. Everyone is so loyal and brave, I also cannot fall behind. Wang Zhenyi leisurely walked out. Although Amei Sect's Yu Ruoying did not say anything, she still followed him to the front. My Kunlun has always avoided the world, but today, for the Central Plains treasure, I will make an exception. When Kunlun sect's Ju Chen saw that there were so many people, he was afraid that they would eat the meat and he would not even get the soup, so he hurriedly followed behind. Other than Shaolin, all the experts of the 6 big sects had come out. For the Central Plains martial arts world. For the protection of the treasure. More and more people from the martial arts world responded. When Xia Ho saw this scene, he could not help but frown. These idiots are actually being incited by Jiang Feng. Could it be that they do not have brains? Chapter 1455. For this true immortal secret art, the entire martial arts world has become Li Fan's enemy. Imperial concubine Zhou looked at these experts surrounding her, but her expression did not change in the slightest. All of you can come at me together. This empress will receive all of you. For Imperial concubine Zhou, no matter how many opponents come, she will not retreat. Because behind her is the 7 Knights Villa. If she falls, the 7 Knights Villa will also be finished. This is his foundation. Even if I have to sacrifice my life, I will protect this foundation for him. I have lived for hundreds of years, and I know him, so I have enough. I will risk everything, this is my value. Imperial concubine Zhou looked at these martial arts experts in front of her. She put her palms together, and a powerful internal force continuously emitted from her body, gathered in the air, and then condensed into a real big Buddha. The big Buddha waved its palm, sending the martial arts experts in front of it flying. Even Jiang Feng was pushed back more than 10 steps by this palm. Fuck, how can it be so strong? Is this the undying evil Buddha? Everyone looked at the nearly 10 meters tall big Buddha in shock. They were speechless for a long time. This imperial concubine Zhou's strength has already surpassed the scope of martial arts, right? Imperial concubine Zhou, have you reached your limit? Seeing that these experts have the intention to retreat, Jiang Feng immediately reminded her. Even if it's you, if you want to use such a powerful move, I'm afraid it will be a bit difficult, right? Jiang Feng looked at Imperial concubine Zhou. At this time, her face was a bit pale, without a trace of blood. Vairocana Heart Sutra can't be used continuously. Moreover, you forcefully used it for so long, your body must have suffered some damage, right? Imperial concubine Zhou, you are also a top expert. If you die in this place, wouldn't it be a pity? The 7 Knights Villa is this empress's home. Imperial concubine Zhou calmly said, moreover, you all don't have the ability to hurt this empress. That's not necessarily true. All of these experts are top experts. If we fight alone, we may not be able to defeat you. But if we join forces, even if we can't kill you, we will absolutely not let you off. That's why I feel that you so-called righteous sects are really funny. Imperial concubine Zhou laughed, you keep saying that you are a righteous sect, but what you do is worse than pigs and dogs. Pay. Zhou Wanshu, don't play this game with us. Long Bailey scolded, if you want to admit defeat, just say it. Don't try to provoke me. We firmly believe that the true immortal art belongs to us. No matter how you try to mislead us with your lies, you can't change the fact that you have taken away the true immortal art. Look at your villa, there are so many young experts, they must have been nurtured by the true immortal art. Your paranoia is too scary. Imperial concubine Zhou shook her head, Ben Gong will give you a bad evaluation of your IQ. You can only be complacent now. Wu Yangzi hugged his horsetail whisk and coldly stared at Imperial concubine Zhou. Since ancient times, evil has never prevailed over good. You, undying evil Buddha, are destined to be defeated by us today. No matter how powerful Imperial concubine Zhou was, she was only one person. Otherwise, how could she have been sealed by the heroes of the Wulin world? Since that's the case, you are the enemies of the villa. Xia Yi waved her hand. 7 hero swordsmen, get into formation. Shua. The sound of swords being drawn rang out in unison. At that moment, the 36 7 hero swordsmen drew the swords on their waists together. The tips of their swords shone brightly under the sunlight as they pointed at the martial artists. comparing the number of people. Jiang Feng smiled. Fortunately, I also have a lot of people. As he said that, he clapped his hands. On both sides of the mountain, hundreds of imperial guards immediately stood up. In addition to the experts of the Wulin world, there were hundreds of them. No matter what, I have to maintain order here. If the people of the Seven Hero Villa make a move outside the martial arts arena, it will be a blatant violation of the law. Then, I will not be polite. Jiang Feng brought out this bandit theory, causing Xia Yi to gnash her teeth in hatred. However, if they really shed all pretense of cordiality here, they would fall into Jiang Feng's trap. Imperial concubine Zhou, make your choice. Jiang Feng looked at Imperial concubine Zhou with a smile. Are you going to admit defeat or die? Who do you think you are? You dare to order this Bengong? Imperial concubine Zhou coldly snorted and raised her palm. The huge Buddha also raised his palm and pressed down on Jiang Feng's head. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down on them. Although the martial artists around Jiang Feng were somewhat afraid, they did not hesitate and raised their hands together with Jiang Feng. They mobilized their internal energy and blocked this huge palm. Boom! The ground slightly trembled and dust flew into the sky, showing how terrifying this move was. However, Imperial concubine Zhou suddenly coughed out a mouthful of blood. The huge Buddha immediately turned into a golden stream of light and slowly dissipated in the air. For a moment, the sky was as beautiful as a painting, but Imperial concubine Zhou was like a sick woman, half kneeling on the ground. However, it was only for this moment. Imperial concubine Zhou quickly stood up and circulated her internal energy again. She looked at the people in front of her ruthlessly. You can't do it anymore, Imperial concubine Zhou. Although Jiang Feng and the others were a bit embarrassed, their expressions were still good. After all, there were so many people blocking Imperial concubine Zhou's attack. At most, they only used up some internal energy. Continue. Imperial concubine Zhou was unable to condense the huge Buddha. She could only barely condense her internal energy into a golden sword, which she held in her hand. The legend of the undying evil Buddha, let me end it. Wang Chuang seemed to have recovered some of his energy. He jumped up and kicked Imperial concubine Zhou. However, Imperial concubine Zhou's body slightly tilted to the side. Then, she stabbed her sword twice, hitting both of Wang Chuang's ankles. Wang Chuang screamed in pain and fell to the ground. Don't underestimate this consort. Even if I can't use the Vairocana palm, this consort can still use the dragon subduing sword. Imperial concubine Zhou's dragon subduing sword was several times more powerful than Jiang Ye's. These two attacks were fast and accurate. Not just anyone could stab them. Looking at Wang Chuang lying in a pool of blood, even if Zhu Chen had some opinions about him, they were still disciples of the same sect. He immediately flew forward and pressed on Wang Chuang's acupuncture points to stop his bleeding. As expected of the undying evil Buddha. Even in this state, he still has such fighting strength. Jiang Feng chuckled. However, I've already ordered Sect Master Wang to seal 2 of these people's extraordinary acupuncture points. You won't be able to absorb any internal energy from their bodies. Just a few more people will be enough to exhaust you to death. As he spoke, he stretched out his hand. The Imperial guards standing on the high ground all took out crossbows from their waists and aimed them at Imperial concubine Zhou. What's more, with my 100 crossbows, how long will you be able to withstand them with your current strength? Jiang Feng's calculations were so deep. It seemed like he was determined to win. The Seven Knights Villa seemed to be facing a calamity. Meanwhile, Chun, who was playing the role of Li Fan, stood motionless on the stage as if he had been scared stiff. Everyone was muttering to themselves. Li Fan didn't seem to be anything special. He hadn't even made a move at this moment. It seemed like his cultivation had really gone berserk. Chapter 1456. Li Fan's cultivation went berserk, and this was the best time to seize the true immortal art. Everyone was secretly delighted, but they didn't know that the real Li Fan was anxiously sitting in the corner. If this goes on, Imperial Consort Zhou might be buried with the manor. As the manor lord of the manor, he could only sit here and watch the show. Li Fan, Li Fan, I really didn't expect that you would have such a day. You're too useless. Li Fan couldn't summon any internal strength. It could be said that today, Li Fan didn't have any internal strength at all. Even if he used a high-level breathing technique to breathe in the heaven and earth essence qi, it would immediately be released from his pores and couldn't be kept. The reversal of yin and yang was this overbearing, not giving any face at all. Li Fan suddenly thought, since the person they want is me, why do they have to implicate Imperial Consort Zhou and the manor? I might as well hand myself over and let them torture me. Li Fan thought of this and was about to walk out, but Dong still held him down. Dong let me out. Li Fan said, staying here is worse than death. Young master, there is no coward in the Seven Knights Manor. Dong's expression didn't change at all, which was in line with her usual calm character. Even if it's destroyed, we can just build another one. Nonsense, the manor can be rebuilt, but what if people are injured or dead? If people are injured, they can be healed. If people die, their fate is over. Dong voiced her thoughts. Master, if you're overly worried, you'll delay your own cultivation. I am the little overlord, Li Fan. Li Fan's eyes turned sharp. Chiu, xia, pull Dong away. Li Fan ordered, but the two beautiful sword maids looked at each other. No one had the intention to help. Mister, I can go and fight with them. Master, if you are not happy, you can stab Chiu twice to vent your anger. Li Fan was a little angry. These three girls actually dropped the ball at the critical moment. Although they couldn't be blamed, Li Fan was burning with anxiety now, so it was inevitable that his temper would be a little bigger. How embarrassing. At this moment, a woman's voice rang out in Li Fan's mind. How did such a fool subdue me? Little sweetheart, what are you worried about? I'll help you, okay? Who else could this weirdo be other than the nine-tailed divine fox? This guy actually woke up so quickly. I've only absorbed a little bit of energy. You're too weak. Your energy isn't enough. I had no choice but to wake up. As long as you need me, I can help. Would you be so kind? Li Fan was immediately alarmed. The nine-tailed divine fox was a real fox spirit, so it had to be extremely cunning. He had to be more vigilant and careful. You're not worthy for me to make a move. I'm willing to settle everything for my sweetheart. However, you can see my love, but you have to let me understand your love. You want to make a deal with me? Li Fan understood that the nine-tailed divine fox wanted to negotiate. If you want me to let you go, that's definitely not possible. Do you think you can trap me? Little sweetheart, I know that I can't get out. I just want to make another request. Tell me about it. Li Fan made his move. The nine-tailed divine fox didn't even need to tempt him with words. She just needed to use the timing of her appearance to deal with him. This woman was truly impressive. Even when she was sealed, she could still grasp such a good opportunity. I don't need your help. Release this seed obediently. If you're willing to help me deal with an enemy, I can help you this once. The nine-tailed divine fox's words echoed in his ears. Who are you going to deal with? Shut up. I don't need your help. It's not an enemy, it's an organization, a powerful and terrifying organization. Even the nine-tailed divine fox was a little panicked at the mention of this organization. What organization? Tell me about it. It's none of your business. Shut your mouth. Human realm beyond heaven. The nine-tailed divine fox had mentioned this name to him before. Alright, I promise you. Hurry up and help me. I won't make a deal with trash like you. Hee, aren't you curious about what kind of organization Human Realm Beyond Heaven is? I don't have time to ask about that now. Hurry up. Li Fan saw that Imperial concubine Zhou was getting weaker and weaker, and it seemed like he couldn't keep an eye on her for much longer. Even if she was an expert, she wouldn't be able to withstand a group of martial arts fanatics. As the saying goes, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. Seeing that you're sincere, I'll let you go this time. Hee, this power is being slowly absorbed from you, so I'll let you use it for a while. However, you must remember that this amount of power is only enough for you to maintain for 5 minutes. You must finish the battle within 5 minutes. Otherwise, even if we're deities, we won't be able to help you. If you're really deities, then you'll definitely be able to help me. If you're talking nonsense again, I'll cut off your tongue. Hee, my enemy, why don't you ask about the whereabouts of the true immortal arts? Don't tell me you're looking down on me too much. Li Fan sneered, it's just an incomplete manual. I'm not interested in learning it. My martial arts can also reach the realm of the true immortal arts. I don't need the help of other secret manuals. With Li Fan's stubborn donkey character, once he set his mind on something, even 10 oxen can't pull him back. Hypocritical fellow, you want to use these words to deceive me. Darling, you're so interesting. If I still have my physical body, I might be able to date you. The 9-tailed divine fox was sealed in the pearl, and this pearl was currently in his bosom. Thus, when she spoke, it was as if she was whispering in his ear, bringing with it a kind of numbing feeling. This woman was a bit scary. Quickly get out of my sight. Hee, don't play for too long. I'll wait for you. The 9-tailed divine fox seemed to have temporarily returned the power to Li Fan. Li Fan's body suddenly trembled. Following that, his body exploded with a powerful inner force. Under Dong Er's shocked gaze, he pushed her 2 steps back. Dong Er, you've changed your mind. Dong Er, aren't you sending Master to his death? The other 2 beautiful sword servants hurriedly reprimanded. Dong Er looked at her left hand, unable to say anything for a long time. Are you here to ruin my villa? Li Fan smiled as he walked, everyone, I'll make the decision for you. Every time Li Fan took a step out, his body would grow slightly larger. When he walked out of the corner, he had already returned to his normal size. After Chun received her husband's voice transmission, she obediently retreated from the arena and found a corner to hide. Husband, please don't let anything happen to you. Looking at her husband's back, Chun and the other beautiful sword servants started to worry. Chapter 1457. Every time Li Fan took a step forward, his figure would grow a bit longer. Chun had already received Li Fan's voice transmission. Taking advantage of the chaos in the crowd, she quietly left the ruins of the heaven-reaching platform. Ha, Imperial concubine Zhou, you are still stubborn. That Li Fan has already run away. That's right, why do you have to risk your life for this kind of villain? When the crowd discovered that Li Fan had disappeared, they all laughed. Imperial concubine Zhou, however, remained calm and collected. She was barely resisting the siege of these experts. Her body was occasionally injured, but she would quickly recover. However, this also consumed a lot of Imperial concubine Zhou's internal strength. She would not be able to hold on for long. What a pity, the dignified undying evil Buddha will die here today. Jiang Feng seemed to be mocking Imperial concubine Zhou. Imperial concubine Zhou, this is your fate. If you want to run away, no one here can stop you. Unfortunately. Everyone was laughing. The true immortal secret art was just around the corner. Moreover, Imperial concubine Zhou would actually be killed by them. This was too exciting. In Jianghu, reputation was as important as martial arts. As long as they could kill Imperial concubine Zhou, their reputation would soar. Who said that I, Li, would run away? Just when the crowd was preparing to continue to attack and take Imperial concubine Zhou's life, an unruly voice suddenly flew out from the side and echoed in the villa. Everyone turned to look and saw Li Fan putting on a black robe with golden edges as he walked over. He looked calm, but his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Every step that Li Fan took, everyone felt as if he was stepping on their hearts, thumping loudly. This seat will only help you this once. Time is precious, I will leave it to you. After that, I will fall asleep again." The voice of the nine-tailed divine fox rang in his ears. Li Fan had already put on his robe and stood in front of everyone. Indeed, time was precious, and he only had 5 minutes. In these 5 minutes, he must defeat the crowd. Li Fan. Jiang Feng saw Li Fan's gaze and was somewhat surprised. This was not the gaze of a weakling. Instead, it was filled with killing intent. Li Fan didn't answer. He stretched out his hand and the 7 heroes' sword on Yin Zhozhou's waist immediately flew out and fell into Li Fan's hand. Dance of the Dragons. Li Fan carried his long sword and instantly turned into a shadow. In the blink of an eye, he passed through the crowd of Jianghu heroes. The power of a saint-level expert. Moreover, it was done in anger. How could these martial artists be a match for it? Even Wu Yangzi and the rest could only see a flash of black light before they felt a sharp pain in their right wrists. The tendons in their right hands had actually been torn apart. In the blink of an eye, all the experts surrounding Imperial concubine Zhou had been stabbed. Only Jiang Feng was barely able to block the attack. Not only that, in the blink of an eye, Li Fan had already landed on the hill at the side. He glared coldly at the hundreds of royal guards in front of him. Doppelganger. Another Li Fan immediately jumped out and grabbed another sword. Then, he stepped on Li Fan's shoulder with one foot and cooperated with him to form the yin-yang sword of the dragon and phoenix. Although Li Fan couldn't practice this sword technique to the second or third layer, he had no problem practicing the first layer. The two of them simultaneously turned into shadows and instantly cut through the crowd. In the blink of an eye, the hundreds of royal guards had their tendons pierced by the long swords and fell to the ground. With the power of one person, Li Fan had resolved the crisis of the 7 heroes' villa in an instant. He withdrew his doppelganger and carried his sword as he stared at the crowd of Jianghu heroes below. "With me, Li Fan, here, who dares to cause trouble in my 7 heroes' villa?" With the current medical science, even if the tendons of the legs and hands were cut, they could still be reattached. However, these people probably wouldn't be able to use force for a short period of time. Li Fan's methods were ruthless and swift. He had indeed intimidated the martial artists here. "Whoever still wants the true immortal art, you must first ask the sword in my hand." With that, Li Fan's figure suddenly flashed. The distance of tens of meters was instantly crossed by him and he stood in front of Long Fangyu. Long Fangyu was an ambitious and formidable person, but at this moment, he was so scared by Li Fan that he fell to the ground on his butt. "Long Fangyu, don't you want the true immortal art? Come, fight with me. If you don't die, I will give you the true immortal art." "No, no. Villa Master Li, don't you also want the true immortal art?" Li Fan turned around and pointed his sword at Long Bailey. Long Bailey was so scared that he took a few steps back. He lost his balance and directly fell down from the heaven-reaching platform. "Come, whoever wants the true immortal art, I will give you this opportunity." Li Fan's voice wasn't loud, but it was filled with threat. Everyone present was alarmed. "From today onwards, all of you are my 7 Knights Villa's enemy." Li Fan said mercilessly, "If any of you dare to come to my Li family island, I will kill you without mercy. Now, get out of the villa." Since he had ordered them to leave, these people didn't dare to stay any longer. With their faces covered in dirt, they endured the pain of their wounds and walked out. Sure enough, cultivating the true immortal art is different. Everyone's heart was filled with regret. This time, they actually couldn't smoothly obtain the true immortal art. It was such a pity. They had also experienced the power of the true immortal art. It was indeed powerful. No matter what, even if they had to use any means, they must obtain the true immortal art. When Amei Sexu Ruoying left, she gave her little disciple a meaningful look. "Wang Yuer, this matter will depend on you." When everyone left, Jiang Feng still stood there and looked at Li Fan with some unwillingness. "What, Commander Jiang, do you want me to send you off?" Li Fan sneered. "Li Fan, you injured so many of my people. The Imperial Army will definitely not let you off." Feel free to come. Li Fan laughed, don't think that I will be afraid of you. The government and I have an agreement. You can go back and complain. Let's see if they will care about you. With that, he crossed his arms and looked at Jiang Feng mockingly. Moreover, how does it feel to be a dog for the US Empress? Don't you feel that your wallet has become a lot richer? Third brother, what are you talking about? As your second brother, how can I not understand? Jiang Feng pretended to be stupid. However, as your brother, I still have a word to advise you. A just cause enjoys abundant support while an unjust cause finds little. Look at you, what have you become now? Not to mention in the international arena, even in China, you will find it difficult to move an inch. Brother, you don't need to worry about this. Li Fan cupped his hands, I have my own principles. At least I have a clear conscience. Really? Jiang Feng sneered, sending my sister to assassinate me, you call that a clear conscience? What did you say? Li Fan's eyes widened, Jiang Feng, your ability to frame people is getting better and better. You just open your mouth and say it. The previous agreement is still valid. But remember, you and I have a grudge. If you and I go, don't bring my sister along. Jiang Feng didn't say anything more. After saying this, he turned around and left. Jiang Yi, who was at the side, had an ugly expression. Chapter 1458. Speak, what's going on? Li Fan has already changed back to the appearance of a child. He sits cross-legged on the mat in his small courtyard. Chun kneels beside him and pours tea for Li Fan. As for Jiang Yi, she lowers her head and kneels in front of Li Fan without saying a word. You don't want to say? Li Fan has the appearance of a child, but his words are serious. What, is it that now that master has become small, you dare to be disobedient? No, it's not like that, Jiang Yi hurriedly says, it was me who was obstinate. I thought that Jiang Feng was trouble, so I wanted to kill him. Although your temper is somewhat stubborn, you have always listened to master's words and understand master's thoughts. You will not do anything that will make master unhappy. Li Fan's small hand picks up the teacup and slightly shakes it in his hand, so, for you to be able to do such a thing, it is definitely not your own idea. Speak, who made you do such a thing? Indeed, I was muddle-headed for a moment. Jiang Yi apologized profusely, Master, please punish me. Li Fan looks at Jiang Yi and does not know what to do. Although this lass went a bit overboard this time, she also wholeheartedly wanted to get rid of a potential opponent for him. It is just that she used a method that he does not like. Master, please punish me. Jiang Yi lowers her head and kneels in front of Li Fan, disciple is willing to accept punishment. Forget it. Li Fan waves his hand, I will punish you to face the wall and reflect on your mistakes for a month. Properly reflect on your mistakes. Yes, Jiang Yi agrees, and then Li Fan waves his hand to let her face the wall. Husband, are you suspecting Xiaoye? Chun asks while helping Li Fan brew tea. I am not suspecting her, but I am suspicious of the person behind her. Li Fan sits there with a frown, this is already the second matter. The first is the extermination of Murong's family, and the second is the case of Jiang Yi assassinating her brother. What is the connection between these two matters? Chun is somewhat unable to understand. It may seem like it's not a big deal, but it's actually a big deal. Li Fan put the two teacups together and pointed. There's a very important connection between these two incidents. What kind of contact? Please tell me, husband. That's me. Li Fan pointed at himself and continued, both of these things are good for me. Besides, it's good for me. Husband, you mean to say that this person is among us? Chun felt that Li Fan was hinting at something. Yes. Li Fan nodded. Moreover, it should be someone very close to me. This person probably wanted to help me, but he used unscrupulous methods that crossed my bottom line. Then what do you plan to do, husband? Chun asked. This person hides very well. It will probably be very difficult to find him. Li Fan waved his hand. Let's just wait and see. I want to see what other tricks this person has up his sleeves. Then you should rest in peace, husband. You will recover your strength tomorrow. Yes, it's all thanks to you taking care of me. Li Fan looked at Chun with great emotion. When his cultivation regressed, it was all thanks to Chun and the others who stayed by his side. However, in a hurry, he promised to seek revenge on Heavens Beyond for the nine-tailed divine fox. But what exactly was Heavens Beyond? Li Fan was a little confused. Husband, it's the martial arts circle convention in a few days. Are you leaving in a few days? Chun could not hide her thoughts and asked. Yes. Li Fan nodded. The earlier I leave the pugilistic world, the earlier I can. You saw what happened today, right? Those so-called pugilistic world experts don't have the integrity of a pugilistic world person. They are all greedy people. If I don't leave, I'll be eaten by them sooner or later. You don't have to leave with the villa. Chun could not help but remind Li Fan. You should consider challenging the four sages. Yes, you've reminded me. Li Fan suddenly remembered that he still had something to do. Looks like I have to discuss it with the dragon lady. Thinking of this, Li Fan could not be bothered with drinking tea. He put down the teacup, stood up, and slowly walked toward the place where the dragon lady lived. The dragon lady ate and drank well in this villa. She built her house on a cliff, and every day, she could look out the window and see the beautiful scenery outside. However, this girl spent most of her time watching Korean dramas and snacks. She rarely looked at the scenery. When Li Fan arrived, she was lying on the windowsill, lazily basking in the evening sun while eating snacks and watching cartoons. Aya! Seeing Li Fan walk in, the dragon lady suddenly threw away the snacks in her hand and went forward to hug Li Fan. Ignoring his struggle, she lifted him up high. What are you doing? Put me down. Hee, I haven't seen you for a few days. How did you regain your youth? The dragon lady seemed to be very excited. This appearance really suits you. Come and let me play with it. What the hell are you playing with? Put me down. Li Fan kept complaining, so the dragon lady put him down. How did you know it was me? Li Fan was very curious. How could he be recognized in his current appearance? Your smell hasn't changed. The dragon lady stared at Li Fan with interest. Quickly tell me, how did you regain your youth? I practiced an evil technique. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders, but don't worry, I'll be able to change back tomorrow. Ah, that's such a pity. The dragon lady was a little depressed. If only you were always like this, I could bully you. Don't mess around. Li Fan slapped away the dragon lady's fingers that were about to pinch his face. I came here to ask you something serious. What other serious matter could you have? The dragon lady was very curious. It seemed that in her eyes, Li Fan did not do his proper work every day. After I came back, I have been in closed-door cultivation and did not have the time to chat with you. Li Fan sat down on the chair beside him. Tell me about Heavens Beyond first. The dragon lady's expression suddenly changed and became somewhat ugly, as if Li Fan had said something he shouldn't have. Did that nine-tailed divine fox tell you? Yes. Li Fan nodded. I made a deal with her today. I will help her destroy Heavens Beyond. You're crazy. That's impossible. The dragon lady warned Li Fan, although your martial arts have been trained to the highest realm, Heavens Beyond is the immortal realm. There is a group of perverted immortals living there who are in charge of supervising the human world. However, this was a long time ago. I only heard about it from my ancestors. I don't know if Heavens Beyond really exists. How are you going to challenge them in a place that you don't even know exists? I still have to try. Li Fan laughed. Everyone has to have a goal. You should first settle the matter of the martial god palace. The dragon lady rolled her eyes. Chapter 1459. Speaking of which, there is another matter that I need to find you for. Li Fan hurriedly says, let's prepare to challenge the Four Holy Tower. May I ask the beautiful dragon race to be my guide? You only come to find me when you have something to do, but when you have nothing to do, you throw me aside. Dragon girl pouts, providing for me with good food and drinks, hiding a mistress in a golden house. Are you treating me as a mistress? What are you talking about? Li Fan hurriedly explains, you are my mentor. You are also our Huaxia's treasure, I treat you like an honored guest. Dragon girl becomes even more unhappy. She turns her head to the side and looks out of the window. The white mist outside had obscured the town below. Li Fan looks out and feels a little emotional. He really didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, he would have to leave this place. Dear mentor, who are you angry at? I specially instructed the kitchen to make a roasted lamb for you today. I guarantee that you will be happy and satisfied, as if you are in heaven. You think a roasted lamb will be enough to get me off? Dragon girl finally turns her head and glares at Li Fan. Then 3. Deal, deal. Dragon girl wipes her saliva and says seriously, although I don't think highly of the current 4 holy tower, as long as they are in their own tower, they are almost invincible. Are you sure you want to challenge them? Yes, I also promised Miss White Tiger that I will accomplish my mission. Li Fan still keeps his promise. Alright then. Dragon girl nods and points out of the window. Actually, not far from here is the White Tiger Holy Tower. If you want to challenge it, I can bring you around tonight. I'm afraid I can't tonight. My body will only recover tomorrow. Li Fan sets the time, then tomorrow night it is. We will explore White Tiger Tower together. Then I have to make some preparations in advance. Dragon girl stands up again and stretches. She lifts up her clothes, revealing her beautiful waist. Even Li Fan can't help but take a few more glances. Is it nice? The dragon lady's sudden question made Li Fan's old face turn red. No, it was his little face that turned red. She's pretty, but her chest is a little small. Bah, this dragon lady has a Lolita body. Uncle Killer, do you understand? That. I'm not at the level of an uncle yet, right? We're close. Look at that look in your eyes. He's about to become a perverted uncle. Dragoness suddenly reached out and pinched Li Fan's cheeks a few times. Little brother, be good and wait for Big Sister here. Big Sister will be back soon. Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He wasn't going to sit here and wait for Dragon Girl. Who knew what this girl would do to him when she came back? The fewer people who knew about his shrinking, the better. Thus, Li Fan sneaked back to his room and returned to Chun Er's side. Originally, he wanted to come back and sleep in. After all, he couldn't cultivate today. Unexpectedly, as soon as he arrived in this room, Li Fan received a call from General Ran. Old Ran, why are you looking for me again? Brother, why does your voice sound a little strange? General Ran's surprised question came from the phone. Ahem, I've caught a cold recently. My voice is sharp. Li Fan coughed twice and tried to make his voice a little rough. You're like a weasel paying a visit to a chicken. You're up to no good. Tell me, what's the matter? Brother, we're brothers. I won't allow you to judge yourself like that. General Ran retorted, how can you be a chicken? Fuck, if you have something to say it quickly. I'm still busy. If you don't say it, I'm hanging up. Okay. Don't worry. I'll say it now. General Ran hurriedly begged for mercy. You're right. I do have something to ask of you. TSK, I knew it. Say it, what's the matter? The higher-ups think that you're a talent. Although the Seven Knights Villa is moving overseas, they hope that you can stay and continue to do something for us. Of course, there's a reward. They won't let you do it for nothing. Oh. What's the matter? Li Fan was not in a hurry to refuse. He asked first. I can't give you the Shang Fang sword, but the higher-ups have decided to give you another special position. It's under the Ministry of National Security's 9th Division, and it's responsible for supernatural cases. Why? You want me to eat the government's money again? Li Fan laughed. You know that I'm not short of money now. I even extorted a few $100 million from the Americans a while ago. I can be considered a small nouveau riche, right? Fuck, you call that a small nouveau riche? You can be called a capitalist. General Rand cursed in his heart. What an evil capitalist. I know that you're not short of money, so the higher-ups appointed you to join the Ministry of National Security's 9th Division. Every time you complete a task, the country will give you some special subsidies for Lee Island. What kind of financial subsidies? For example, opening up some sea routes, carrying out some legal trade, or promoting the tourism industry project of Lee Family Island. General Rand's conditions really hit Lee Fan's heart. If Lee Island wanted to survive, the mainland's help was indispensable. For example, promoting the tourism industry of Lee Island. With the spending power of tourists from the mainland, Lee Island would definitely earn a lot of money. Now that Taiwan and South Korea were making a ruckus, Chinese tourists started to boycott the tourism of these two countries. The amount of losses was almost astronomical. The most pitiful was Wanwan. Now, the tourism industry was almost in decline. Many local businessmen were crying their eyes out and could only curse the stupid policies of those in power. How about it? Think about it. General Rand did not force Li Fan to agree but gave Li Fan some space to think. Okay, I'll think about it. I'll give you an answer tomorrow. Li Fan was not in a hurry to answer. He hung up the phone, but Chun-er was puzzled. Husband, Chun-er is stupid. I don't understand. Didn't the government ask you to leave Huaxia because they fear your power? Why are they not letting you leave now? They are afraid of my power, but they are even more afraid of the powerful force behind me. Li Fan smiled. So, the 7 Knights Villa must leave Huaxia. They want to make me a figurehead. The reason why they want me to stay is very simple. First, they think that I can be used. Second, they might also be eyeing the perfected immortal art. This was a cultivation technique. It was impossible to say that the people in power were not tempted. Unreasonable. Chun-er was a little angry. Husband, you risked your life to save this world. Why are those people only eyeing the perfected immortal art? They did not even say a word of gratitude to you. The world is bustling, and everyone comes for benefits. The world is bustling, and everyone comes for benefits. Li Fan, on the other hand, was very relieved. It's not worth it to be angry over such a thing. Although the people in power have ulterior motives, this is an opportunity for me. If Lee Island wants to become stronger, I have to cooperate with them. Moreover, I am a Chinese. There is nothing wrong with working for my country. Chapter 1460. The next day, Li Fan promised General Rand that he would be a special agent of the 9th Bureau of the National Security. As a special agent, General Rand briefly explained the rights and responsibilities of this job to Li Fan. The Secret Service of the 9th Division of the State Security reported to the director, and all the missions were issued by the director. There was no immunity for murder, but in special times, the local special police could be mobilized to cooperate with the operation. Li Fan's main job was to deal with the cases of superhumans breaking the law. For example, cases like martial arts masters, mutants, magicians, and other cases that ordinary police could not handle. In China, there was only the Imperial Army that was responsible for supervising and maintaining the order of the Jianghu. But other than the martial arts world, there were many different kinds of masters among the people, and someone needed to maintain order in this part. Once humans obtained power that surpassed ordinary humans, they would begin to inflate. Breaking the law and committing crimes was a common thing. The responsibility of the Shangfang sword was even greater. He was responsible for the safety of a nation. It was precisely because of the existence of the Shangfang sword that the other countries did not dare to make a move against China. However, this position was currently vacant. It was said that General Ran and the others had found a lot of people, but they were all rejected by the Shangfang sword. I will report to the 9th Bureau of the State Security during the day, and we will leave at night. There was an office of the 9th Directorate of the National Security Bureau here in Spanish Baoquan. After Li Fan greeted the Dragon Lady, he used his qinggong and headed towards the city. The State Security 9th Division's office was in the State Security Bureau, and this was the first time Li Fan entered a government building. There were many office staff inside, and there were even soldiers standing guard at the door. However, Li Fan had an electronic recommendation letter, so he could come and go as he pleased. You are Li Fan. The 9th Bureau of State Security's office was not small, but there were not many people inside. After Li Fan entered, there was only a beautiful woman in her 20s. She was wearing a police uniform and seemed to be looking through some documents. Are you here to trade for a water dispenser? The machine is at the door. It has been broken for a few days. Hurry up and change it. Hearing someone come in, the woman asked without raising her head. Hello, I'm here to join the company. Li Fan said politely. Hired? The woman finally raised her head. She was wearing a pair of rimless glasses, which suited her face very well. She looked like a smart girl, a typical government worker. Yes, my name is Li Fan. Li Fan took out his ID and placed it on the table. Oh, it's you. I've received a notification. The woman gave Li Fan a smile. We'll be colleagues from now on. My name is Jing. She pointed to the seat next to her. No one is using that desk yet. You can sit there. Once I'm done with the information I have, I'll take you to go through the employment procedures. Alright, sorry to trouble you. Li Fan looked at his desk. It was very clean, and there was nothing on it. However, Li Fan didn't care. He basically wouldn't be on duty. He reckoned that he wouldn't have much time in the office in the future. Let's go. I'll take you to go through the procedures. And Jing adjusted her shirt and Li Fan realized that her breasts weren't small. Ahem, what am I looking at? This is a colleague. The National Security Agency probably doesn't like office romances, right? What's more, he already had a lot of luck with women. Besides, they might not even fancy him. However, from the looks of it, Jing didn't seem to know who he was. After beating up Takeda, he filmed a TV series, but there were many Chinese celebrities. He hadn't appeared in public for a long time, so his popularity had slowly died down. Jing looked at Li Fan and only found him familiar. She didn't recognize him. We have a 9-to-5 system. It's a normal weekend, and there are allowances for holidays. Jing introduced the work system to Li Fan. There aren't many requirements. After all, superpower crimes are rare. Basically, our department has nothing to do. Jing sighed. Back then, I wanted to go to the criminal police unit, but the 9th Bureau lacked manpower. The benefits were pretty good, so I transferred here. In the end, I didn't have much to do every day. All I did was help my colleagues sort out some information. From the looks of it, Jing's temper was quite good. There aren't many people in the 9th Bureau. Other than me, there's only a division chief and a field agent. The division chief is in his 40s. He's quite nice, and he's a little bald. It doesn't matter how you joke, but don't ever mention his baldness. Otherwise, he'll get angry. Is that so? I'll remember that. Yes, the other officer's name is Little Chen. He's in his 30s and single. Jing adjusted her glasses. He doesn't have a good temper. He's the only field agent in our 9th Bureau. However, we rarely have field missions, so he doesn't have much work to do every day. That's why he doesn't come to the office much. As she spoke, she led Li Fan to the Human Resource Management Office. The Human Resource Minister was a woman in her 40s. She looked very capable and experienced. After asking a few questions, she prepared to handle Li Fan's induction. Comrade Li Fan, in the future, you will be an outstanding special agent in the 9th Bureau. I hope you will take your work seriously and complete every mission given to you by the organization. Okay. Li Fan nodded. And Jing, who was beside him, was suddenly surprised. She covered her mouth and looked at Li Fan in surprise. What's wrong? You're actually a special agent. Heavens, after he came out, and Jing couldn't help but ask, Li Fan. Are you a relative of one of the ministers, eh? Why do you say that? Because the 9th Bureau is a leisurely yamen. There's not much work a day, so it's easy for special agents to be promoted. And Jing explained to Li Fan. Basically, after reading the newspaper for 2 years, you'll be promoted to the 1st Bureau. You might even be promoted to the position of a section chief. People like us who don't have any background or power can't do it. It's already not bad if we can become a section chief after so many years. Ha ha ha, don't worry. It won't be long before our bureau gets busy. Li Fan laughed. General Ran and the others had sacrificed a lot of benefits to put him in this position. They definitely wouldn't let him be a free lunch. You all look quite imposing when you first came. It reminds me of when I just graduated, and Jing said and emphasized. As in Jing said, she emphasized, of course, I just graduated a year ago. Perhaps I'm even younger than you. Yeah, Missy and Jing looks like an 18 or 19-year-old girl. Since coaxing people was free, Li Fan might as well say it out loud. You want to hit on me? And Jing nudged her glasses and looked at Li Fan with a faint smile. Li Fan was taken aback. Wasn't Jing feeling a little too good about herself? Give up. You can't stand me. However, and Jing suddenly said that. Chapter 1461. Li Fan was a little confused. What did this mean? Could it be that this girl was a war goddess in bed? Could it be that even men could not withstand her demands? Looking at the female colleague in front of him, Li Fan couldn't help but size her up. And Jing had shoulder-length hair and neat bangs. She wore black-rimmed glasses, and behind the lenses was a pair of spirited black eyes. And Jing's skin was very fair. As the saying went, whiteness covered 100 ugliness. Furthermore, and Jing herself was very pretty. She wore a white shirt and a pair of black wide-legged trousers. And Jing didn't have a devilish figure, but she had a pair of slender legs that could drive men crazy. And Jing was just like her name. Her temperament also exuded a sense of tranquility. Such a beauty with a good job was definitely someone many men fancied. However, Li Fan couldn't help but remind her. Well, I'm not looking for a boyfriend for now. And Jing said. No. The button on your collar is crooked, and Jing immediately turned around and fastened the button before turning around with a red face. As you can see, I'm very muddle-headed. Boys can't stand me. No, having a muddle-headed girlfriend seems very cute. Li Fan laughed as Jing looked at Li Fan seriously. No, my mother said that I can't get married like this. So, before I fix my muddle-headed habit, I won't be dating. And Jing said as she clenched her tiny fists. I'll definitely succeed before the end of the year. Seeing Jing's hard work, Li Fan wanted to laugh. The 9th Bureau of the National Security seemed to be quite fun. If he were to graduate from university normally and become a civil servant, he would probably be delighted to be able to work here. By the way, since you're a special agent, are your combat skills very powerful? And Jing sized up Li Fan curiously. Which army were you promoted from? Special Forces. I remember that China's most powerful special forces should be the Red Paratroopers, right? Ah, I'm not a Special Forces soldier, eh? Looks like you really are the child of a high-ranking official. No wonder, those special forces are all tanned, but you are so fair and clean. You make me sound like a pretty boy. You're not that handsome. Anyway, work hard. And Jing gave Li Fan another smile. I'm our backup. I'll provide you with the greatest help. Of course, if there's a field mission. She put her hands behind her back and walked slowly to the office. We're too free. In the past, it was said that the martial artists in the Jianghu were a threat, so there was a ban on martial arts. Now that the prohibition on martial arts is gone and there's a new batch of Imperial Guards, there's nothing left for our 9th Bureau of National Security to do. Although the Royal Guards are quite powerful, they can't be considered a force cultivated by the government. Li Fan said, if this force is used well, it's like a knife, but if it betrays you, it's like a gun pointing at yourself. Shh, don't let outsiders hear what you just said. The Royal Army is an important force of our government. Yes, Miss Jing is right. You're glib-tongued and spouting nonsense. Be careful not to get scolded by the director. Didn't you say that the director has a good temper? I said you were joking that he's bald. Li Fan was rather speechless. And Jing actually had such a black-bellied side to her. As expected of people who entered the government. They were indeed not simple. The director seems to be here. And Jing glanced at the open office door. Remember, don't mention that he's bald. Okay. Li Fan made a mental note as he followed Jing back to the office. At that moment, a middle-aged man in his 40s was sitting at the largest table in the office. He was slightly plump, had a crew cut, and was dressed in a clean and tidy suit. Director, this is the new special service member, Li Fan. Oh, little Li, hello. The director greeted Li Fan, but Li Fan was a little surprised as he subconsciously asked. Director, do you have hair? And Jing immediately broke down. She stood at the door in a daze as she fell into a petrified state. My hair. My hair is still growing. The director smiled and said, Shaoan, you little girl, are you saying that I'm bald? How is that possible? I have a head of healthy hair. And Jing was somewhat surprised. The director's attitude towards Li Fan was actually that good? Yes, Li Fan suddenly understood. Holy shit, the director is wearing a wig. General Ran has informed me that you're our special service member. You have to work hard in the future, little Li. The director specially walked over and affectionately patted Li Fan on the shoulder. If you have any difficulties in your work or life, feel free to mention them to me. I'll do my best to help you resolve them. Thank you, Director Yang. Li Fan said. Indeed, General Ran had already informed him. He's indeed the son of an official, and Jing mumbled inwardly. It's best not to make him angry, lest I lose my job. What's wrong with little Chen? Why isn't he coming to work? Director Yang suddenly asked. Didn't the director say that he doesn't have to come when there's nothing important? And Jing was a little dumbfounded. She didn't know what Director Yang was up to today. This is the right of a special service member. He's a field agent, so he has to be on standby in the office even when he's not on a mission. Director Yang said. Quickly make a call and get him to come over. Alright, I'll go now. And Jing prayed for little Chen in her heart before making the call. And Jing felt that in the future, the National Security Agency's 9th Bureau might become different. This little Chen is young and doesn't do proper work, Director Yang criticized. Everyone should learn from little Li. He has such achievements at such a young age. But, Director Yang, I might not be able to come to work usually. It's fine. You're a special service member. Just appear if there's a need. Director Yang waved his hand and gave Li Fan special privileges. However, our bureau is relatively idle. There's usually no work. If there's really something, just get little Chen to do it. Li Fan was a little speechless. Director Yang was too indulgent of him. It was unknown how General Ran had explained it to him. By the way, little Li, I heard that you haven't bought a car. Do you want me to help you apply for a public car? Director Yang asked again. The cars in the bureau are all A4, but we still have an A6. If you want to drive it, you can drive it. And Jing mumbled inwardly. Isn't this A6 the director's car? As a field agent who has to go on missions, little Chen is only given a Great Wall H6. Isn't the difference a little too great? Chapter 1462. Around noon, Xiao Chen finally came to work. This kid was dressed in cowboy clothes and was 1.8 meters tall. He had a crew cut and looked very capable. He barged into the office, muttering to himself. Director Yang, what's wrong today? Why did you suddenly call me here? I'm on a blind date. This young lady is not bad. Nonsense. What blind date during work hours? Director Yang glared at him. Director Yang, we have to solve our personal problems too. Furthermore. As Xiao Chen was mumbling, his gaze suddenly landed on Li Fan. Who is this? Be polite. Director Yang's warning to Xiao Chen stunned Xiao Chen. Director Yang had always been good-tempered. What's wrong with him today? Did he take the wrong medicine? Hurry up and sit down. Work hard. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Where did this job come from? Hello, Brother Chen. My name is Li Fan. I'm a new special agent. Special agent? Li Fan. Xiao Chen sized up Li Fan. Why do you look so familiar? Lad, where did you work in the past? What nonsense are you spouting? You're full of nonsense. Before Li Fan could say a word, the good-tempered Director Yang began reprimanding him again. You are a government employee. Those who don't know might think you're some hooligan. Director Yang, you're right. And Jing also spoke up, making Xiao Chen even more depressed. What's wrong with everyone today? Did everyone take the wrong medicine? Bro, why did you come here to work as a special agent? We have nothing to do today. Xiao Chen sat down and began chatting with Li Fan again. Nonsense. Our work here is also very important. No department in the government exists in name only. Once there's a superpower crime, we have to take action immediately. Do you understand? Io, my Director Yang, what's wrong with you today? It's like you're a different person. Different person? I think you're a different person. Ignoring the fact that you're late during work hours, you're not even wearing your uniform. What do you think this place is? Do you still look like a government employee? Director Yang, you can't just criticize me. Isn't he also not wearing his uniform? Xiao Chen pointed at Li Fan. Nonsense, he's a new comrade. The uniform hasn't been issued yet. Director Yang continued, furthermore, he's a special agent. He only needs to wear his uniform for missions, understand? You're biased, what are you saying? Director Yang was like a cat that had its tail stepped on. He subconsciously glanced at Li Fan, slowed down, and continued. But you remember, you're a little old. But you have to remember, you're an important government official, so you have to be prudent, understand? Xiao Chen, you're right. No. Even with Xiao Chen's temper, Yang, Director Chen was. Chief Yang was satisfied. His attitude today was indeed biased towards Li Fan, and he also wanted to remind Li Fan who was the real leader here. The 9th Division of the State Security was a government department. The higher-ups handed Li Fan over to him, hoping to supervise and discipline him. Xiao Chen, you and Xiaoli will cooperate well in the future. Do a good job on every case, understand? Director Yang, how can there be a case? Just as Xiao Chen finished his sentence, and Jing suddenly picked up a call. Get ready. There's a mission. Huh? Xiao Chen and Director Yang were both shocked. What the heck? Just like that? There hadn't been any news for years. Why was there a mission today? Li Fan knew that there had probably been missions in the past, but General Ran and the rest never handed them over to the 9th Division of the State Security. They probably did not value the 9th Division of the State Security. It was originally used to deal with high-ability criminals, but now, it had become a low-level government office. Holy shit, did the sun rise from the west today? Xiao Chen was a little confused. He rubbed his head, unable to figure out what was going on. Alright, let's talk about the mission. Director Yang rubbed his forehead, looking a little worried. Director Yang, don't worry. Although we haven't been on duty before, Xiao Chen is a former soldier of the Red Umbrella Corps. With the help of the Three Kingdoms system, we will definitely be able to complete the mission. Three Kingdoms system? What's that? Li Fan was a little curious when he heard that. You'll know soon. Let's go to the armed forces now. Director Yang waved his hand and led a few people from the 9th Division of the State Security to the armed forces. You're so far from the armed forces. If there's an emergency, you won't be able to make it in time, right? Li Fan sat in the Iveco and calculated the time. It would take at least half an hour to get to the armed forces, even by car. It would be even more late if there was a traffic jam. Since it's a field operation, there must be someone from the Public Security Bureau holding the fort. Xiao Chen checked his pistol. As a field agent, he had to carry a gun with him. Li Fan took a look. It was an ordinary Type 92. The body of the gun glowed with black oil. It seemed to be a little old, but it was well maintained. We're considered special police who deal with people with special abilities, right? Are we going to use this gun? Li Fan was puzzled. Of course we can't rely on this. Xiao Chen chuckled. We have the Three Kingdoms system, but we've never used it. Now I'm curious, let's talk about the case first. Director Yang was more concerned about the case. And Jing nodded and began to explain the case to everyone. The perpetrator is a mutant, and Jing said. Recently, there have been fewer and fewer mutants. Especially during the mopping up plan some time ago, almost all the mutants in China have disappeared. This mutant seems to have just awakened. He's currently using his power to rob a gold shop. The police have surrounded the place and are confronting this person. These things were handled by the Special Abilities Bureau in the past. Director Yang seemed to be afraid of trouble. It was a completely different person from the righteous look he had when he taught Xiao Chen a lesson. By the way, where's the Imperial military? Why aren't they on duty? The Imperial military is only responsible for the affairs of the underworld and the martial arts world. Other criminal cases are not within their scope of authority. And Jing explained. Okay. Xiao Li, Xiao Chen, you two have to work hard and cooperate with the police. Shouldn't the police be cooperating with us? Li Fan asked. It's our first operation. It's inevitable that we'll be unfamiliar. We still have to learn from our experienced comrades. Director Yang coughed twice, but Xiao Chen curled his lips. Don't worry. It's our first time on duty. We'll definitely do a good job. Chapter 1463. While the car was on the road, Li Fan was still mumbling inwardly. The first 3 mutants had been radiated by the 9-tailed divine fox's divine sense. The local residents were very powerful and had rather long lives. After these 3 people's powers returned, they spread it out, causing many people's mental powers to mutate and become rare mutants. However, these 3 people should be dead. The other mutants in China had been brought to Li Island by him and had used special methods to isolate their mental radiation. Therefore, even if Bai Lin Luo returned, it shouldn't have affected the local area. But where did these mutants come from? Whose psychic wave had affected them? We've arrived at the armed forces. The car stopped and Little Chen and company alighted. Li Fan followed behind and entered the armed forces. The 9th Division of the National Security Bureau was located there. If one wanted to obtain any equipment, they had to come here to equip themselves. The procedures had been completed, and no one stopped them from entering the armory. Li Fan couldn't help but sigh when he saw the layers of checks. With this efficiency, it would be too late if anything serious happened. Since he was in the 9th Division of the National Security Bureau, he had to improve this situation. Up ahead is our Three Kingdoms system. And Jing pointed at a facility in front of them and said to Li Fan, this was invented by a genius back then. It can be used to enhance a person's combat strength. However, the maintenance cost of this equipment is very high. Although every city is equipped with a set, almost none of them have been used. The maintenance cost is high. Then there's no need for it. Li Fan couldn't help but sneer. Are the people paying too little in taxes? These things are used to protect the people, but now you're worried about the high maintenance cost. Ha ha. And Jing was somewhat surprised. This was a second-generation official with awareness. I reckon that our department will soon be evacuated, much less these pieces of equipment. Xiaoqin kicked the steel covered in dust. It's precisely because it's the people's tax money that the country can't waste it for nothing. However, Director Yang said, Little Li, you have good awareness, but you're still young. However, it's time for us to show the value of this equipment. Whether it's worth maintaining or not, it's up to us to decide. Hey, little Zheng, right? Clean up and get the Three Kingdoms system up and running. All right. A few logistics personnel in charge of cleaning immediately busied themselves. Soon, the place was covered in dust, choking in Jing and company. Li Fan was depressed. Fuck, has this place not been cleaned for hundreds of years? The ash could even drown a person. Moreover, wasting time in this kind of place was really not something he should do. Open all the windows. People are dying here. Director Yang said as he coughed. And Jing hurriedly ran over to open the window, but she tripped over a log and fell to the ground. Li Fan was also convinced. This girl was really muddle-headed. As he went over to help Jing up, she kept touching the ground. Where are my glasses? Here. Li Fan probed with his inner strength and sucked over the glasses that had fallen to the side before stuffing them back into Jing's hand. Little Chen went over and opened the window. Only then did the armory have some fresh air. As for the piece of steel, it finally revealed its true form. Li Fan helped Jing up and looked at the steel again. He couldn't help but be surprised. Man, it's actually an exoskeleton. The steel was part of the armor, but the armor formed a complete exoskeleton that could be worn on a person's body. A few years ago, the United States was also researching exoskeleton equipment. In the beginning, exoskeletons were used in medical facilities to help disabled patients gain a new life. However, later on, the military attempted to use exoskeletons in individual combat, greatly increasing the combat strength of individual soldiers. This continued until they developed nano-armor, genetic chips, and later, the Zeus system. Exoskeletons were considered obsolete. However, in China, this exoskeleton was actually sleeping. Although the equipment was a little outdated, it was considered a good combat strength if used properly. This armor's name is Zhang Fei. Little Chen looked at the black armor in a somewhat infatuated manner. Wearing this armor is like wearing Zhang Fei. I've always wanted to try its power, but unfortunately, I didn't have the chance. Little Chen, you're in the field, so you can assist the special services. Director Yang hurriedly reminded him, let Little Li use this armor this time. Oh. Little Chen was clearly a little disappointed. Li Fan immediately said, there's no need, Director Yang. There's no need, Chief Yang. I'm new here and I still need to learn. Brother Chen, it's better if you wear this armor. Let me see its combat strength. China had already begun using the dragon chip. It was indeed rare to see someone using an exoskeleton. However, Li Fan had a nagging feeling that this armor might have its own unique combat strength. Three Kingdoms system, in that case, there are other armors with other names in other cities? Li Fan asked. Of course, the strongest is Lu Bu's armor. However, it's in the imperial capital. I really want to see it. Little Chen was a little excited. Director Yang, this is my opinion. What do you think? No matter what, this was their territory. Li Fan couldn't turn from guest to host. Alright, then let Little Chen do it. After all, the two of you are doing the work. I'm only in charge of commanding. Director Yang thought to himself, as long as Li Fan doesn't nitpick, it's fine. Time is of the essence. Quickly try out the functions of this armor. And Jing urged. The criminal was still in a standoff with the police. All right. Little Chen was also a little excited. He walked to the platform and opened his arms. A panel was pulled in front of him, and some of Little Chen's stats popped up. Stamina, B, Speed, C, Strength, B, Comprehensive Combat Ability, B-. Basic stats meet the requirements. Able to use Zhang Fei's armor. Ha, I knew I could do it. Little Chen was overjoyed. After all, he was from the Umbrella Corps. Using this armor was more than enough. Pieces of black armor were draped over Little Chen's body. In a short while, Little Chen turned into a mighty god of war. He stretched out his hand, and an enlarged version of the snake spear was handed over by a robotic hand. This snake spear was completely made of alloy and was more than 3 meters long. Little Chen grabbed it and swung it. The sound of air being pierced rang out. This alloy snake spear seemed to be quite powerful. Ha! Little Chen felt his strength and was very happy. Now, I'm finally like a field agent of the 9th Bureau of the National Security. And Jing, where's the criminal? Let's hurry over. Standing by the side, Li Fan couldn't help but nod. The power unleashed by this armor was at least the strength of an expert who had reached the next level. Let's go. It's time to punish the criminal. Director Yang was also in high spirits. Their 9th Bureau of the National Security could fight against Xiongfeng. Everyone. I have something, and Jing timidly raised her right hand with a screw between her fingers. Is this from the armor? Chapter 1464. Zhou Dafu was just an ordinary delivery man. He had dropped out of school in his early years and was uneducated. Later, he followed a friend to join the underworld and help people collect debts from loan sharks. In the end, because he injured the person, he had no choice but to go to jail for 2 years. When he was released, he was recommended by an old friend to work at a KTV. A few days later, he got drunk and offended the boss, who broke his leg. Zhou Dafu was almost 40 years old. In society, people like him were called old hooligans. As an old hooligan, Zhou Dafu lived a very sullen life. He was basically half dead. Therefore, Zhou Dafu started to be laid off and found a job again. He decided to make a living by scamming people. But now that the economy was tight, it was not easy to do so. Often, he would not earn a single cent for a few days. The days became more and more difficult. In the end, he thought of death. For this, Zhou Dafu really put his intelligence to use and researched many ways to die. He wanted to see which way was more comfortable and less painful. Although Zhou Dafu was a hooligan, his biggest weakness was that he was afraid of pain. In the end, he felt that all the ways to die were painful. Finally, he gave up and decided to work hard to make his career as a scammer. In the end, just as Zhou Dafu was about to have a second spring in his life, a car might not have been able to control its speed, or the driver might have had too much to drink, but it interrupted Zhou Dafu's work and killed him. Zhou Dafu experienced death briefly. When he woke up in the morgue, he realized that he had extraordinary power. This was an opportunity given to him by God. He was born to be an extraordinary person. At first, Zhou Dafu only used this power to bully others. Eventually, he became more and more arrogant, until he broke into the gold shop and wanted to rob the jewelry. Zhou Dafu used all his intelligence. He felt that it was not easy to rob a bank. First, the money was in the vault. Second, normal banks did not have much money. But the gold shop was different. The gold was all out in the open. He could have as much as he wanted. In this day and age, money was not reliable. It depreciated every day. Hard currency was the most reliable. Zhou Dafu chose the most pleasing Zhou Dafu and relied on his ability to rob a lot of gold and silver. However, the police did arrive quickly. In less than 5 minutes, the police cars had surrounded the place. The front door and the fire escape were all blocked by the police. Zhou Dafu had no way to escape, so he could only take the hostage and confront the police. 2 special police officers sneaked into the gold shop and prepared to launch a surprise attack. However, Zhou Dafu relied on his copper skin and iron bones. He was not afraid of the police's bullets at all. Instead, he subdued the 2 special police officers. "Prepare a helicopter for me immediately," Zhou Dafu shouted, "or I'll kill everyone here." The director of the local public security bureau stood behind the police car in anger. "Where are the people from the 9th Bureau? Why aren't they here yet?" As he looked at the fallen policeman, he became more and more furious. With such a big thing happening, it was hard to say whether he would be able to keep his police uniform. Just these colleagues alone were all comrades who had fought alongside him until now. They never frowned when they hunted criminals, but now they were dealing with a terrifying monster. "They're already on their way. I think they were delayed when they went to the armory," his subordinates reported hurriedly. "Hurry. Tell them to hurry. This is a matter of life and death. Where are they going to give birth?" "Yes, yes." His subordinate quickly rushed them. At that moment, Jing also received a call. She happened to be on the truck that was rushing over. Little Chen, who was wearing the Zhang Fei armor, was in the back of the truck. The 2 logisticians were still beside him, making the final adjustments to the armor. "We're almost there. Are you confident?" Li Fan stood at the side and looked at the excited Little Chen. He could not help but ask. "Of course I'm confident. I've been wanting to do something for a long time." Little Chen exercised his mech. Although he did not know where a screw had fallen from, he still had full confidence in this Zhang Fei mech. "I'm going to use this armor to enforce justice and punish those bad guys." "Okay, then do your best. I'll support you." Li Fan also wanted to see how much power the 9th Bureau of the State Security and the 3 Kingdoms system had, and whether they could be used by the people. "We're almost there. Prepare to release Zhang Fei." And Jing's voice sounded in their earphones. Li Fan nodded and pushed open the truck's hatch. "It's my turn to perform." Little Chen was like a monkey that had returned to the mountain as he happily rushed out. A pulley popped out from his feet, allowing Little Chen to slide freely and quickly on the ground. The group of policemen were somewhat surprised when they saw such a thing appear. "What's this? A mecha? Can we fight that monster with this thing?" the policemen discussed. Little Chen wore the Zhang Fei armor and held the alloy snake spear in his hand as he slowly walked towards the jewelry store. "Director Yang. You came personally." The branch bureau chief was a little surprised to see Director Yang here. Your hair." He pointed at Director Yang's hair and was even more surprised. "Ahem, Chief Sheng, this is a set of armor system developed by China. I guarantee that it can subdue the bad guys." "Alright, then I'll be relying on you guys." Chief Sheng wiped his cold sweat. "This bastard's name is Zhou Dafu. He used to be a hooligan, a professional racketeer. I don't know what happened to him, but he has become an invulnerable Iron Man. Leave it to us." Director Yang instructed Little Chen. "Little Chen, it's all up to you. I guarantee that I will complete the mission." Little Chen stood in front of the jewelry store and asked Jing, "Can you monitor the target's location?" "Yes." According to the thermal response, he should be behind the wall a meter to the left. And Jing told Little Chen according to the display on the monitor. Just as Little Chen moved a little, Jing suddenly shouted again. "Ah, no. I was wrong. It's the right. The right. Fuck your sister." Little Chen was infuriated. At such an important moment, this lass was still making a mistake. "Don't be anxious. Follow Jing's instructions." Li Fan sat cross-legged in the police car beside him. He was rather calm. It was said that Zhou Dafu's ability was to have copper skin and iron bones. He was invulnerable, but it was impossible for him to be invincible. It was a good chance to test the combat strength of this armor. Alright. Little Chen also knew that it wasn't the time to flare up. He moved a distance to the right. The policemen beside him were also wiping their cold sweat. Can this work? Fuck. Bang. Little Chen's arm pierced through the 20-centimeter thick wall and grabbed the target's head. Chapter 1465. Little Chen relied on Zhang Fei's gauntlet and penetrated the 20-centimeter thick wall. He grabbed Zhou Dafu's head, pulled him out, and threw him at his feet. When the crowd saw Zhou Dafu, they were shocked. Zhou Dafu was like a man of mercury at this time. His skin had turned into some kind of silver alloy. He was thrown to the ground, and his mouth was still shouting. Fuck, who knocked me down? I'm injured. Pay up. Io, Zhou Dafu, you're still trying to scam in this state. Little Chen was delighted when he saw this. Zhou Dafu thought about it. Yes, I'm already amazing now. Why am I still doing this? It seems that professional habits are formed, and it's hard to change. He immediately rolled on the ground and stood up. Chief Zheng saw that Zhou Dafu had no hostages at this time and decisively gave the order. Fire. Little Chen had retreated immediately. Although it was a set of armor, it was not a full duplex to avoid being accidentally injured by stray bullets. At this time, Zhou Dafu was surrounded by a hail of bullets. These policemen had injured their comrades and colleagues. Each of them was full of anger, and they were venting it at this time as they desperately pulled the trigger. There were more than 30 policemen at the scene. The bullets were fired as if they were free, hitting Zhou Dafu's body. However, Zhou Dafu's arcana was indeed powerful. Under such a hail of bullets, he still stood there, maintaining a smile, like a spring breeze. The bullets hit him, but they could only splatter golden sparks, and then bounced to the side. Even the nearest police car was not spared, and the ricocheted bullets turned it into a sieve. Ha ha ha. I'm invincible now. You idiots. Zhou Dafu was very excited. He felt that God had given him this opportunity. It allowed him to become stronger, get rich, and then live the rest of his life freely. Even bullets could not kill him. What was there to be afraid of? What was the police? What was the army? Bullshit. Damn, this guy is a monster. Can't we catch him? The policemen were a little disheartened, but Little Chen was still excited. Kid, consider yourself unlucky today to be in my hands. Lie down. Little Chen had already rushed in front of Zhou Dafu, and the alloy snake spear in his hand was swung at Zhou Dafu. Dang! Zhou Dafu's body was sent flying, but the alloy snake spear couldn't break through his defense. Zhou Dafu's lower abdomen was propped up by the snake spear, and he struggled a few times in the air. Too hard. Xiaochen frowned, but he did not give up. Instead, he shook the snake spear and sent Zhou Dafu's body flying into the air. Then, he made Zhou Dafu fall freely and fall back to the ground with his limbs spread out. I don't believe that even Zhang Fei can't subdue you. Little Chen was a little excited. He raised his alloy snake spear high and slashed down with all his might. Bang! Zhou Dafu's body was sent flying and crashed into a police car, flattening it. Zhou Dafu seemed to be in pain from the fall. He cried out a few times, but it was not a big deal. Hard! Little Chen roared and jumped high into the air. Under the effect of this set of battle armor, his body's functions had also been strengthened many times. He directly stabbed at Zhou Dafu with his snake lance. Bang! Zhou Dafu's lower abdomen was stabbed again. He was pushed up along with the scrapped car behind him and slid to the ground, producing blinding sparks. However, the alloy snake spear still couldn't penetrate Zhou Dafu's body. Impossible. Little Chen was somewhat displeased. He couldn't even penetrate his opponent's defense. Don't lose heart. Li Fan's voice sounded. Little Chen turned his head and saw Li Fan standing on the electric pole beside him at some point in time. He was looking at him with his arms crossed. His weakness is at his throat. Go on. How did you know? Little Chen was a little surprised. He felt that Li Fan's eyes seemed to emit a certain glint, as though he could see through him. I guessed it. Go ahead and give it a try. Li Fan smiled and didn't explain. Little Li, don't make a random judgment. If you're wrong, it might cause unnecessary casualties. And Jing reminded him through the earpiece. I'm doing a thermal analysis. Who knows, I might be able to obtain some important information. Don't worry. Given the situation, there's no problem giving it a try. I'll be more conservative. Li Fan and Jing had conflicting opinions, but Zhou Dafu laughed out loud. What police? What justice? It's all bullshit. I'm already invincible. All of these riches are mine, no one can stop me. I, Zhou Dafu, will no longer be a nobody. I will be an earth-shattering emperor. Emperor, my ass. Little Chen couldn't help but curse. The snake spear in his hand pierced through Zhou Dafu's throat. His body was tough, but his throat was like a mortal's. It was instantly penetrated. Before Zhou Dafu's beautiful dream of a future could be realized, he had already lost his life here. Ha, I knew it. Zhang Fei's armor is very powerful. Little Chen was especially happy. This time, he had finally proven the armor's power. And Jing was a little surprised as she hurriedly asked. Li Fan, how did you tell that his throat was his weakness? That's right, that's right. Quickly teach me. This move is impressive. Little Li, quickly tell us about your experience. The trio from the 9th Bureau of the National Security asked. It was really a guess. Humans always have weaknesses. He only obtained an ability, not a god. Li Fan laughed. Besides, the throat is everyone's weakness. I don't think he was spared. Then you're quite smart. And Jing couldn't help but praise Li Fan. In the future, we have to learn from Little Li and use our brains more. Director Yang also kept praising Li Fan. Instead, no one mentioned Little Chen, who had contributed the most. However, Little Chen didn't care about this. He was still immersed in the excitement of the mecha's power. Your power is used to punish bad people. Don't follow Zhou Dafu's path. Li Fan's voice suddenly sounded in Little Chen's ear, giving him a shock. He turned his head and saw Li Fan standing far away, talking to Jing and company. Did I hear wrongly? And at that moment, although Li Fan was talking to Jing, he secretly glanced at the distant rooftop. There seemed to be someone before that, and it was a very powerful person. Who could it be? Could it be an expert from the Martial God Hall that could make him feel threatened? Li Fan couldn't explain it. He only felt that it wasn't simple for something like Zhou Dafu to happen. There had to be something behind this. Although it was only a guess, Li Fan sometimes believed in his intuition. Let the police deal with the aftermath. Let's go back and have a summary meeting. Director Yang was beaming with joy, as though he had grown a new head of hair. Chapter 1466. The summary meeting was rather boring. Li Fan felt drowsy listening to it. He lasted until he got off work and finally left the 9th Bureau of the State Security as though he was escaping. Working in such a boring organization was really not suitable for him. Li Fan was about to head to the Seven Knights Villa when he bumped into Jing, who was also preparing to go home. After this last got off work, she changed into casual clothes. She wore a light yellow woolen sweater on her upper body and a long wine-red skirt on her lower body. It made her originally refined aura seem even more gentle and quiet. What are you doing? Why aren't you going home? Li Fan asked. What's wrong? I forgot my wallet when I went out, and Jing lowered her head and said with a blush, I can't even buy a bus ticket back. I'll lend it to you. Li Fan reached into his pocket for the money and suddenly felt embarrassed. He suddenly remembered that when he went out, Chun, and the rest would pay for him. He had gotten used to corruption, causing him to not bring money when he went out. What's wrong? don't you have any money with you? And Jing blinked her eyes and suddenly covered her mouth to chuckle. So you are also so muddle-headed. I'm not lonely. Li Fan was unable to defend himself. Then where do you live? Let me send you off. Alright, I don't live too far. It's only 3 to 5 kilometers. There was still some time before the sky turned dark. Li Fan was not in a hurry. He could send his colleague off on the way. It could also be considered as enhancing the friendship between colleagues. Speaking of which, you work for the government and are considered a civil servant. Why don't you even have a car? Li Fan asked as he walked. I don't need a reputation project. Do you think being a civil servant is very lucrative? My monthly salary is only 3,000 yuan, and I don't have the qualifications to get a car. Do you think everyone is like you, getting an A4 the moment they arrive? This A4 level is enough for a municipal party secretary. For someone like me, I can only afford an electric car. If I were to buy a car, even if I can afford it, I can't afford to keep it. Gas money, parking fees, these are all expenses. If that's the case, I might as well take the bus. It's environmentally friendly and saves money. So, the 9th Bureau of the State Security is quite high-ranking. Hey, what are you talking about? And Jing waved her hand. That A4 and A6 are old cars. They were seized a few years ago. The car is so old that no one else drives it, so they just left it here. So that's how it is. I feel that our department is indeed quite desolate. Isn't that so? It really is a clean yamen. I actually think it's good that something happened today. If not, the 9th Bureau of the State Security should be disbanded. You can't say that. Some departments are just there to prevent things from happening. Li Fan didn't think so. He expressed his opinion. Just like the police, if no one commits a crime for a while, will the police withdraw? Is that even possible? You're right. But I still fought for my dignity today. And Jing was still very happy. I never expected us to be in the limelight today. Our glory is accompanied by the danger of the common people. However, Li Fan wasn't optimistic. I hope such things don't happen often. I never expected a second-generation official like you to be so concerned about the country and the people. And Jing looked at Li Fan in surprise. How did I become a second-generation official again? Li Fan couldn't help but laugh out loud. If he were a second-generation official, he probably wouldn't have ended up like this today, right? So what if you're a second-generation official? There are good people too. Look at you, aren't you not bad? Alright, whatever you say. Li Fan didn't explain further. It was good to keep it a little mysterious. And Jing, you guys have to investigate more about Zhou Dafu. I don't think it's that simple. Li Fan suggested. How can it be so sensitive? It should be an unexpected incident. And Jing didn't think too much about it. You're a little muddle-headed. This kind of thing is definitely not a coincidence. Li Fan said, the mutants in China have long left. Even if there are any left, they should have been wiped out by the sweeping plan. Although it's a little cruel to say this, the execution of this plan is thorough enough. It's even more thorough than the martial arts ban. The martial arts ban only made the martial artists lose their combat ability. As for the mopping up plan, they secretly executed all the mutants. In other words, there shouldn't be any more mutants appearing in China. The system to check the mutants was still in place, and Bai Lin Luo could only come back with special approval. For China, the mutants were like a virus. They must not be allowed to spread mutants in China. Otherwise, the consequences would be like what happened today. Some people could control their arcana, but they might not be able to control their desires. In the past, the Special Abilities Bureau was in charge of these matters. Now that the Special Abilities Bureau was gone, the Imperial Guards were only in charge of the pugilistic world and the underworld. The rest was left to the 9th Bureau of the State Security. You're just too sensitive. And Jing put her hands behind her back and took a few steps under the tree. Then, she turned around and smiled at Li Fan. People should live a more relaxed life. How can we always have such conspiracy theories? Isn't that too tiring? What you said makes sense, but have you heard of another saying? Li Fan asked leisurely as he looked at Jing. What is it? I want to hear what you have to say about it. As the saying goes, do your job according to your position. If you and I were ordinary people, we wouldn't be muddle-headed and would just live happily. But we are the 9th Bureau of the State Security. Don't forget what our duty is. If we just muddle along, ordinary people will have a hard time. You're full of principles. And Jing laughed. The gentle young lady's laughter warmed Li Fan's heart a little. I won't hold you back. After all, I'm also a member of the 9th Bureau of the State Security. Don't underestimate me. I'm very powerful. And Jing said as she took a step back. In the end, she accidentally tripped and nearly fell to the ground. Fortunately, Li Fan took a step forward and helped her up. And Jing's face was red as if she was extremely shy. Silly girl, is this how you don't hold us back? Li Fan looked at Jing with a smile, causing her face to turn even redder. That's. Humans lose their footing, that's because horses lose their footing, and humans lose their footing. Go away, you're the one who's lost your footing. Li Fan was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. And Jing was ultimately a petite woman. Let go of me, and Jing gently pinched Li Fan. Then don't fall again. Am I that stupid? Not exactly stupid. You're just a little muddle-headed. You're the muddle-headed one. Humph. I don't want you to send me off. And Jing pushed Li Fan away and walked forward in a fit of pique. However, her high heels fell into a ditch. Chapter 1467. Li Fan had to hand it to her. He didn't know if this woman was muddle-headed or unlucky, but she was just too tragic. And Jing's face turned red as she tried her best to pull out her shoe. But the harder she tried, the more she couldn't pull the heel out. Li Fan stood by the side, leaning against a tree with his arms crossed. He didn't help as he looked at her with a smile. You bastard. Aren't you being too ungentlemanly? And Jing grumbled at Li Fan. You're not even helping, and Jing, I'm just curious. Can't you just take off your shoes? After Li Fan asked, and Jing suddenly came to a realization. She first took off her shoes and placed one foot on top of the other. Then, she squatted down in an attempt to pull out the high heel. However, the heel seemed to be stuck in a rather weird position. She tried a few times, but she couldn't pull it out. Do you need help? Li Fan asked with a grin. Is there a need to ask? And Jing seemed infuriated. Alright. I'll be right there. Li Fan bent down and nearly touched Jing's leg, making her blush even more. Would this Li Fan take the opportunity to take advantage of her? However, Li Fan was rather well behaved. He reached out and pulled out the high heel from the trench. When Li Fan returned the shoe to Jing, she said angrily, You boys just like to bully boys because of your strength. Hey, what you said isn't right. How did I bully you? Li Fan was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. Yes, you did. And Jing was a typical young lady. She looked angrily at Li Fan as though she was really angry. Alright. I'll bully you then, alright? That's it? Aren't you going to apologize to me? Yes, Missy and Jing. It's my fault. I hope you won't hold it against me. Li Fan bowed to Jing thrice. Screw you. Are you worshipping a dead person? And Jing rolled her eyes in anger. I don't care. You have to treat me to a meal. How can I treat you to a meal without money? Li Fan broke out in a cold sweat. Hey, I forgot about that. Forget it, I'll treat you. Aren't you broke too? Idiot, you have a phone. And Jing waved her cell phone. I can pay for everything with my cell phone now. Then why don't you use your phone to book the ticket? It hasn't become popular yet. And Jing said, in some big cities, cell phones can already be used as public transport cards. What era are we in? Technology is productivity. Yeah, that set of Zhang Fei's armor is very powerful. Li Fan thought of Zhang Fei's armor. Its combat prowess was pretty good. It should be able to deal with ordinary experts. However, if he encountered a second-rate expert, he would barely be able to put up a fight. If he encountered a first-rate expert, he would be finished. Not to mention the more powerful top experts, martial saints. My house is right in front. And Jing stopped in front of an apartment building and looked at Li Fan. Do you want to come up for coffee? Then forget it, Missy and Jing. Li Fan said righteously. Any friendship that transcends the office begins with a cup of coffee upstairs. Screw you. You're still dreaming. And Jing glared at Li Fan. You're the same as that little Chen. You're both shameless. Ha, why did you give me such an evaluation? TCH, men are all the same. In your hearts, is there no pure friendship between men and women? And Jing threw out a huge question. There should be, right? Li Fan chuckled. Why don't we go upstairs and give it a try? Give it a try, my ass. See you tomorrow. And Jing waved goodbye to Li Fan. She did not want to invite a wolf into her house. Alright, I'll try to see you tomorrow. Li Fan was a special agent. He did not have a fixed time for work to begin with. Furthermore, he would be busy with the relocation of the Seven Knights Villa over the next few days. He probably would not have the time to come over. However, the matter regarding the mutants still had to be investigated. The reputation of mutants was already bad to begin with. If a few more incidents were to happen, it would probably worsen. The day he agreed on with Jiang Feng was approaching. He also had to make preparations to head to the martial god shrine to rescue Liao Wushuang. Then I'll head back first. Bye. Li Fan was about to stroll back when he suddenly stopped and looked behind him. Behind him were the residents of the neighborhood. Some were taking a stroll, some were dancing, and some were rushing home from work. There was nothing out of the ordinary. Li Fan felt that he might have been a little too sensitive. He turned back and continued on his way. This young man is quite capable. A man in a long blue shirt stood on the rooftop of an apartment building. He looked down at Li Fan's back and could not help but comment. He's just a mortal. If his strength exceeds the rules, we'll just kill him. Beside him was a woman in red. She was as beautiful as a flower, but her face was murderous. She carried a sword on her back and did not even look at Li Fan. She only said coldly. We can't kill indiscriminately. We also have rules. The man in blue was as gentle as jade. The mission from above is to monitor. We can't make a move. What's there to monitor? He's just a mortal. How can he jump out of the sky? Even if he cultivates the true immortal art, what's there to be afraid of? It would be great if he cultivates the true immortal art. The man in blue had a smile on his face. This is something we specially sent down to trick them. I'm actually afraid that he won't cultivate it. Mortals are greedy beyond measure. With such a godly art, how could he not cultivate it? Alright, let's not talk about them. Remember, the responsibility of the heavens beyond heaven is to monitor. Don't overstep your boundaries. Alright, then I won't say anything. After all, he's just a mortal. He can't do anything. The two of them flashed and disappeared from the rooftop. As for Li Fan, he did not know that he was being watched. He returned to the Seven Knights Villa and packed his things. He prepared to go to the nearest White Tiger Pagoda with Dragon Girl. Aren't we going to fight? Why did you prepare so many snacks? Li Fan looked at Dragon Girl's big and small bags and could not help but widen his eyes. The one who's going to fight is you. I'm just in charge of leading the way. Just treat it as a field trip. Li Fan was quite speechless. This dragon girl was too heartless. What, I only have this little hobby. Are you going to deprive me of it? Dragon girl looked at Li Fan with dissatisfaction. When a little girl was unruly, she was quite powerful. I'm not depriving you of it. Then bring it along. It must be fun to watch a movie in the front row, right? Of course, it's a 3D movie. Look, I've prepared a lot of popcorn. Dragon girl was still introducing her snacks one after another. Li Fan was so angry that he could choke. This girl was too presumptuous. Forget it. Follow me. Do you know the way? It's better to follow me. Yes, yes, yes. You're my guiding light. Let's go. Chapter 1468. Bayfish Circle is close to the sea. The air here is good and the environment is beautiful. It is indeed a good place to travel and retire. And White Tiger Pagoda is in the sea of Bayfish Circle, 30 nautical miles away from the coastline. White Tiger Hall is hidden in an illusion. Ordinary people cannot find it. Only characters like Dragon Lady can lead the way. The two of them rented a small boat and under the cover of night, sailed 30 nautical miles and arrived at the location of the target. Is it at the bottom of the sea? Borrowing the moonlight, Li Fan looks at the turbid sea. He remembered that the pagoda where he met White Tiger's sister was hidden under the water. You are thinking too much. Dragon Lady rolls her eyes at Li Fan and points at the surface of the water, for Saint Pagoda is hidden between heaven and earth. Without my guidance, you cannot see it. It is just a pagoda, why is it hidden so deep? Li Fan is a bit disdainful, hiding, are you afraid someone will attack? You do not know how strong the four sages were in the past. Even if you and Muronging use the Yin-Yang Dragon Phoenix sword together, you will not be able to defeat one of them. So strong. Didn't they still get defeated by humans? TSK, then you also do not know how strong the first generation Shang Fang sword is. Dragon Lady reminds Li Fan, go and regret it. You have not even developed the true power of Shang Fang sword. This sword has the power to split the heavens and earth, killing deities above and demons below. Even if it is the four sages, they will retreat when they see this Shang Fang sword. Isn't it just sword returning technique? Li Fan coldly snorts, what is the point of borrowing the power of those bastards? When practicing martial arts, the strong one is yourself. How can you borrow the power of a divine weapon? That is inferior. You're so stubborn. There are so many cheats, why have you never used them? What are cheats? Shang Fang sword? Or true immortal arts? Li Fan chuckled, these are all things that don't belong to me. Even if I use them and practice them, what's the point? I, Li Fan, believe in my own strength. My yin-yang reverse training can still beat those people from sky beyond skies. You really know how to talk big. The Dragon Lady scoffed, do you really think you're invincible? You'll see how powerful the human realm upon heavens is. Cultivating yin and yang in reverse is just a martial art. Can a martial art be more powerful than an immortal art? I would like to try. As Li Fan spoke, he took a deep breath. The surrounding heaven and earth essence chi was instantly sucked into the air, making his essence chi more abundant and his mind clearer. Li Fan gathered his internal energy in his eyes. He could faintly see that there seemed to be an invisible ripple on the surface of the sea in front of him. The shape of these ripples was like a tall tower. Ha! Li Fan stored a mouthful of essence in his dantian and shouted in front of him. A wave of chi immediately rushed out and hit the ripple. In the blink of an eye, as if a transparent coat had been torn off, 100-meter-tall tower appeared in front of the two of them, quietly floating on the surface of the sea. The Dragon Lady looked at Li Fan in shock. He actually broke through the illusion with a single roar. Isn't it powerful? Li Fan looked at the Dragon Lady with a smile, but the Dragon Lady stuck out her tongue at him. I don't know if you're powerful or not, but once you enter the White Tiger Pagoda, you should know how powerful that person inside is. What's there to be afraid of for a fake saint? Although he's a fake saint, I've said it before. In this sacred tower, his power can be limitless. Tonight, you should properly receive the test. I hope that you can come back alive. Speaking of which, didn't they also want your life? Li Fan asked, why aren't you afraid? I naturally have my own way of escaping. As the dragon lady ate her snacks, she casually replied, don't look down on me, I can also use the Shangfang sword. What? Li Fan was a little shocked. This weapon that was used to deal with holy beasts could actually be used by the dragon lady? After all, I am the instructor of the user of the Shangfang sword. If I don't know how to use it, how can I do it? The dragon lady waved her small fist, don't underestimate my strength. Yes, you're the strongest. Let's go in then. Li Fan lightly jumped from the boat and landed in front of the White Tiger Pagoda's door. But before Li Fan could jump over, the two tiger statues in front of the door suddenly came to life and pounced towards Li Fan. Humph! Li Fan was extremely disdainful. On his back, there was a tattoo of an overlord subduing a tiger. The moment the two stone tigers pounced in front of Li Fan, he suddenly moved. Fight the tiger! Two fists hit the top of the stone tiger's head, directly smashing the two stone tigers. Li Fan easily landed on the steps in front of the stone door, and the shattered stones fell into the sea. The dragon lady followed behind and landed beside Li Fan. Not bad, I feel that your skills have improved again. That's right. Li Fan retracted his power into the Taiji Dantian, don't underestimate my yin and yang reverse training. Martial arts is martial arts, it can't be compared to immortal techniques. The dragon lady poured cold water on Li Fan, especially in the hands of the four sages, each of them has a divine weapon. Without the Shangfang sword, it will be very difficult for you to deal with them. I don't believe that I can't do it without a divine weapon. Have you forgotten about the nine-tailed divine fox? The dragon lady reminded Li Fan, furthermore, undying people like Jiang Feng and imperial concubine Zhou can only be killed with the Shangfang sword. The divine weapon is indeed powerful, but I also have a way to deal with these people. As Li Fan spoke, he stretched out his hands, pushed open the heavy stone door, and walked into the pagoda. This White Tiger Pagoda is filled with stone statues. Li Fan looked at these stone statues and felt that they were lifelike. Is the master of the pagoda an artist? Li Fan could not help but ask, why are there stone statues everywhere in the pagoda? This is not an artist. The dragon lady reminded Li Fan, he is a person who likes to play chess. These are all created chess pieces. Chess pieces? Yes, look at them lifelike, right? Because they are all real people. The dragon lady reminded Li Fan, holy shit, these are all real people. Li Fan was surprised, Medusa. More or less. White Tiger's weapon does have this ability. The dragon lady nodded, this White Tiger comrade thinks highly of herself. You have to be careful, she will bring you a pleasant surprise. Just as they were speaking, a stone statue suddenly turned its head and looked at Li Fan. Are you the Shangfang sword? White Tiger is talking to you. The dragon lady continued to eat her snacks, hurry up and answer her. More or less. Li Fan stuffed his hands in his pockets and looked at the speaking stone statue in front of him, you are the White Tiger successor, right? Don't hide your head and show your tail, how about coming out and having a chat? Chapter 1469. Do you want to communicate with me face to face? The stone statue looked at Li Fan and seemed to be smiling, which made Li Fan feel very strange. Then you need to pass the White Tiger Pagoda's test. In this space, everything about you will be controlled by me. I am the White Tiger and I control wisdom. As he spoke, the surrounding stone statues suddenly moved. Soon, a huge chessboard appeared in front of Li Fan. Many stone statues suddenly moved and lined up in front of Li Fan, blocking his path. Pass my chess game first. The White Tiger's voice seemed to come from a distant place. It was somewhat ethereal and solemn. Just from the voice, Li Fan could not tell if it was a man or a woman. The voice seemed to have been processed and was especially neutral. However, the dragon girl seemed to mean that the white tiger's successor was also a woman. Be careful, these stone statues have an array formation that is very difficult to deal with. The dragon girl reminded Li Fan before retreating to the side. Hee, little dragon girl, you actually dare to come to my pagoda. The white tiger's voice sounded again. This time, it seemed like all the stone statues were speaking together. Their voices echoed left and right, but it was unknown who was speaking. Killing you sacred beasts is my responsibility. Since you have delivered yourself to my doorstep, I shall grant you death. Oh right, you brat, you also have some dragon blood in your body, right? Just nice, I'll kill you too. That will depend on whether you have the ability to do so. Li Fan raised his inner strength and filled his body with vital energy, making him even more clear-headed and sharper. Everything around him seemed to be in his perception. The movements of the stone statues were also crystal clear and could not escape Li Fan's perception. You have to be careful. The dragon girl reminded Li Fan, don't underestimate the white tiger. She is very strong. And, I got it. Li Fan would not let his guard down. He looked at the stone chess pieces in front of him and began to think of a countermeasure. My stone statue has the strongest defense, and it also has some other effects. You will soon enjoy them. As he spoke, the chessboard suddenly expanded to the area beneath Li Fan's feet. In an instant, Li Fan felt that there was a powerful force around him that was pulling at the power in his body. Oh. Li Fan raised his eyebrows, you can actually absorb energy from my body? The white tiger statue can absorb energy from its surroundings. Dragon Girl had long since stood far away and warned Li Fan, you have to be careful. Don't be dragged down by the power of this stone statue. I have to seal my acupoints and fight again, Li Fan pondered for a moment. It was indeed a little tricky. At this moment, the 10 soldier stone statues took a step forward and thrust their spears at the same time towards Li Fan. Li Fan was prepared to retreat, but his power was being pulled, causing his movement to be somewhat hindered. 2 of the soldiers' spears had already stabbed in front of Li Fan, but they were slapped to the side by Li Fan's crane hand. In this array, I can't even use 10% of my strength, because Li Fan had to control his internal energy, he was unable to use his full strength. He lifted his leg and kicked a stone statue, but he was pushed back 2 steps. Your defense is indeed not bad. He, my wisdom is so powerful, and my chess skills are also unparalleled in the world. It is absolutely impossible for you to pass through my chess array. Just as he finished speaking, Li Fan felt his vision become blurry. When his vision became clear again, Li Fan saw that he was standing on a huge battlefield. His surroundings were burning with the flames of war, and in front of him was a group of soldiers armed to the brim with killing intent as they looked at him. Be killed by my army. You foolish mortal. A person wearing a white tiger armor was sitting on a warhorse far away, looking at him mockingly. Let's go, my army. At her command, more than 100 cavalrymen charged towards her. Their warhorses were extremely fast, raising rolling smoke, and the spears in their hands were pointed at Li Fan. Facing this fast-charging army, Li Fan's gaze did not change. He suddenly thought of something, although he could not use his full strength, it seemed like he could use another method. Go to hell. The white tiger's laughter rang in his ears, and white light flowed on Li Fan's body. Soon, an armor identical to Zhang Fei's armor was draped over Li Fan's body. Wearing this Zhang Fei armor, Li Fan was like a small giant, standing in front of thousands of soldiers and horses. Li Fan used his inner strength to imitate Murong Ying's materialization, and actually created a replica of Zhang Fei armor. Li Fan had never seen other armors, so he could only imitate this set. He stretched out his hands, and powerful inner strength gathered again, and a huge snake spear appeared in his hands. Come, let me try the power of this 3-kingdom system. As Li Fan spoke, he jumped, and instead of retreating, he advanced, quickly approaching the opposite army. A cavalryman had already arrived in front of Li Fan, and the spear in his hand stabbed towards Li Fan's chest. However, Li Fan laughed, turned around, and directly used the snake spear to send the cavalryman flying from his warhorse, piercing his chest, lifting him into the air, and then threw him away. Another 2 cavalrymen, one on the left and one on the right, attacked Li Fan from both sides. With a sweep of the snake spear in Li Fan's hand, the heads of the 2 cavalrymen were directly swept away. After wearing this exoskeleton armor, Li Fan's strength was indeed like a tiger that had grown wings. A pulley popped out from under his feet, and he ran wildly on the ground. At the same time, he constantly waved the snake spear in his hand, sending the cavalrymen in front of him flying, piercing, and cutting them in half. At this time, Li Fan's demeanor was really like a fierce general of the 3 kingdoms. Even if the enemy was thousands of soldiers and horses, he still killed 7 times. After 10 minutes, Li Fan did not know how many people he had killed. Those killed soldiers fell to the ground, but they did not bleed. Instead, they turned into gravel together with their warhorses and scattered around. These soldiers were not afraid of death. They were just pawns of the white tiger. However, the more Li Fan killed, the more ferocious he became. He did not know how many soldiers had fallen under his snake spear. "I have to praise you." The white tiger's voice sounded again. "In this array, you can still display such strength. It is indeed amazing. It's just that my great formation is stronger than you can imagine." With that said, the gravel that was shattered before suddenly rolled up and gathered together. Soon, another magnificent army stood in front of Li Fan again. At this moment, Li Fan was finally a little shocked. Fuck, is this considered cheating? Chapter 1470. Under the command of the White Tiger, the vast army gathered once again, readjusting their formation, arranging their troops, and rallying their troops. These soldiers surrounded Li Fan, blocking Li Fan so tightly that not even a drop of water could escape. "Mortal, accept your failure. The realm beyond heaven has already issued an order to monitor you. It is not convenient for them to make a move, but I can. As long as I kill you, I might have the opportunity to ascend to the realm beyond heaven." "The realm beyond heaven?" Li Fan frowned. "You know about the realm beyond heaven?" "Wait." Li Fan seemed to understand something. "No wonder you did not appear when you suppressed the 9-tailed divine fox. So you have already become the dogs of the realm beyond heaven? Your words are really unpleasant." White Tiger's voice seemed to contain a hint of anger. "The divine fox should have been released long ago. She should have completely destroyed this world. Humans have committed a great crime. The realm beyond heaven will send down the ultimate punishment sooner or later. Why don't you say a few more words? I am quite interested." Li Fan knew that the 4 sages had collectively betrayed the humans, but he wanted to know more. "Hee, let's talk about it when you survive." White Tiger waved his hand, and the army charged towards Li Fan again. With the formation that could absorb internal energy, Li Fan's physical strength would be exhausted sooner or later. "Alright, I will let you see my yin-yang reversal." As Li Fan spoke, he suddenly let go of the snake spear. Then, he opened his hands and slowly closed them in front of him. The Tai Chi in his body suddenly reversed, and then Li Fan took a deep breath. The surrounding energy was suddenly pulled back by Li Fan. Not only Li Fan's energy, but also the energy contained in the stone statues. All of them were absorbed into Li Fan's body. However, Li Fan's yin and yang reversal also had its drawbacks. Li Fan could not absorb the energy of others for his own use. He was more like a filter. Either he refined the energy and returned it, or he exerted it on a third party. At present, the only third party was Dragon Girl, but she was blocked from the illusion, so Li Fan could not transfer his power to her. However, Li Fan already had a complete plan. His previous battle was to test the feasibility of this plan. Yin-yang reversal, divine weapon. Li Fan raised his right hand into the air. He released a powerful force, but it formed a huge Taiji symbol on his palm. The Taiji diagram kept spinning and shrinking. Soon, a white sword of light condensed in Li Fan's hand. Because the energy was too vast, Li Fan was unable to turn it into reality. He could only compress it to form this lightsaber. However, the radiance emitted by the sword made even White Tiger shudder in fear. What kind of ability is this? Why is your sword so special? What kind of divine weapon is that? I have no comment. As Li Fan spoke, he swung the lightsaber in his hand. The lightsaber instantly pulled out a sword energy, and the void seemed to be sliced apart. Hundreds of soldiers around Li Fan were directly sliced into two. Their bodies were immediately evaporated by the energy, leaving not a single residue behind. Li Fan held the lightsaber, feeling a little excited. He did not expect that his idea would really come true. This way, the effect of yin-yang reversal would be even stronger. We should have enough fun. Li Fan waved the lightsaber again. He quickly advanced and instantly swept past the thousands of soldiers, leaving behind a trail of afterimages. At the same time, every time he swept past, the soldiers would be thrown off their feet and turned into dust. Li Fan had already absorbed all their energy, so these stone statues had lost the chance to regenerate. What's more, there was nothing left of them. You destroyed this seat's chessboard. The White Tiger seemed to be a little angry. She finally rode her warhorse and slowly walked towards Li Fan. The warhorse slowly transformed into a ferocious white tiger that roared at Li Fan. Roar! This roar made Li Fan's hair stand on end. This white tiger descendant really did have some strength. You are about to bear this seat's power. You should feel honored. The white tiger walked closer, then stretched out her hand and pushed away the mask on her helmet, revealing a delicate and beautiful face. She looked like a 17 or 18-year-old girl, but she spoke with an aged tone, as if she had lived for a long time. Little girl, where is your adult? Let him come out and chat with me. Li Fan held the lightsaber and smiled. Watch your tone, this seat is not a little girl. Although this seat is only 19 years old, this seat shares the memories and knowledge of several generations of inheritors. We are white tigers, and white tigers share the experience of generations. What you want to defeat is the common wisdom of several generations. I'm even more interested now. Let's try. Li Fan held the lightsaber and looked for the white tiger's weakness. Logically speaking, the white tiger inheritor's strength should also be at the half-sage level, but just like what the dragoness had told Li Fan, the inheritor's strength was greatly enhanced in this tower. Even Li Fan could not see the depth of the inheritor's strength. However, Miss White Tiger had once told him that as long as he killed the inheritor, she could be resurrected. No matter what, he had to try. You defeated those pitiful chess pieces and obtained the strength to play against this seat. Be proud, mortal. This seat will let you die a painless death. With that, the white tiger inheritor stretched out her hand, and a longbow immediately appeared in her hand. This longbow was not an ordinary item at first glance. It seemed to be a weapon exclusive to the white tiger inheritor. Do you see this? This is the divine armament forged from the white tiger's soul, the white tiger divine bow. You remind me of the ranger in the game. Li Fan could not help but laugh, an archer chick riding a white tiger. Continue mocking me, ignorant mortal. This seat has already seen your fear. Is that so? What fear do I have? Before Li Fan could finish speaking, the white tiger inheritor suddenly pulled the longbow, but there was no arrow on the longbow. However, when the white tiger chick released the bowstring, Li Fan felt his heart tremble. In almost an instant, an illusion appeared in front of him. Murong Ying's heart was pierced by a sword. She spat out blood and fell in front of him. No! Li Fan's face was pale. He clutched his chest in pain and took a step back. He used a lot of strength to stabilize his body. Then, he looked at the white tiger girl in shock. This so-called godly bow could actually strike his heart directly. Should this arrow be called a soul arrow? I've already said that this seat has already seen through your fear. The white tiger girl's smile was quite sweet, but there was poison in the sweetness. You are too weak, mortal. These weaknesses will cause you to die a tragic death. Chapter 1471. As the white tiger girl spoke, she pulled the bowstring again. Li Fan widened his eyes and gathered his internal force in his eyes, wanting to see the truth of the so-called soul arrow. However, as soon as the bowstring was pulled, Li Fan instantly felt pain in his chest. An illusion appeared in front of him again. Imperial concubine Zhou seemed to have used up all her strength and was rapidly aging in front of him. Then, she turned into white bones and fell to the ground. No! Li Fan was in so much pain that he almost fainted. However, the illusion in front of him slowly dissipated. The white tiger girl was standing not far away, sneering at him. Can I feel your fear? The white tiger girl played with her longbow and looked at Li Fan as if she was looking at an idiot. You actually want to fight with me? You even want to challenge my holy tower? What a joke! The white tiger girl was full of ridicule, as if she did not take Li Fan seriously at all. You are about to become a speck of dust in my tower. Oh no, this is too wasteful. You are not completely trash, at least you can be a stone statue for me. Not bad, this job is very suitable for you. Aren't you happy? After your heart is broken, you can still make a small contribution to me. Little girl, you won't be able to get married like this. Li Fan wiped the smile from the corner of his mouth and said. You're quite a busybody. The white tiger girl sneered, you can't even protect yourself, yet you're still asking about my matters. You keep saying, this seat. You really have the appearance of a 19-year-old, but the heart of a 91-year-old. What a pity, men like young girls and have no interest in old women. You're about to die, don't worry about it. The white tiger girl pulled the bowstring again. Li Fan instantly used the dragon soaring through the 9 heavens and suddenly increased his speed, disappearing from the white tiger girl's line of sight. Hee, it's useless. The white tiger girl released the bowstring. Li Fan suddenly appeared in the air and fell heavily to the ground. This time, the illusion he saw seemed to be even more severe. It was so painful that he spat out a large mouthful of blood. Only then did the pressure in his heart ease a little. Li Fan circulated his inner force and did a few more breathing exercises to reduce his injuries. I've already said that I've seen through your fear. No matter where you escape to, even if you escape from this tower, even if you escape to the other side of the ocean, you will always be in my sights. As long as this seat pulls the bowstring once more, I can kill you. Really? Li Fan finally smiled. Then I really have to thank you for telling me the solution. Have you given up on yourself? The white tiger chick did not believe Li Fan's words at all. With this weapon that could ignore distance and strike the heart, no one would be a match for her. Next time will be the day you die. She placed her hand on the bowstring, but at this moment, Li Fan instantly appeared in front of her. At the same time, he flicked the lightsaber in his hand. The white tiger maiden did not even have time to react, and the arrow in her hand was immediately sent flying. What? General, you failed. As Li Fan spoke, under the white tiger maiden's shocked gaze, he stabbed the lightsaber in his hand a few times. These few stabs directly stabbed the white tiger maiden's limbs, causing her to lose her strength and fall from the tiger's body. The tiger roared and pounced towards Li Fan. Good. Li Fan lowered his body and dodged the tiger. Then, with a sweep of his lightsaber, the tiger was cut into 2 from below. No! The white tiger maiden seemed to have expected her failure. Her face was pale as she looked at Li Fan, who was standing in front of her. Don't you like to strike fear into others' hearts? Li Fan looked at the white tiger maiden. You have such power, but not only did you not abide by your duty, you even became a dog for the heavens beyond. Ha, what do you know? This world can no longer be preserved. The heavens beyond has decided to destroy the entire lower dimension. The white tiger maiden looked at Li Fan and seemed to have regained some of her rationality. She sneered, even if you win against me, you can't avoid destruction. What do you mean? Li Fan pointed the lightsaber at the white tiger maiden's throat. Speak clearly. Humans have always thought that they are at the top of the food chain. What a joke. The white tiger maiden reluctantly leaned on the tiger's corpse and looked at Li Fan with disdain. We are just living in the lower dimension. Above us, there exists the true ruler. That is the heavens beyond. What the hell is the heavens beyond? Are they gods? You can say that. The white tiger maiden seemed to have some understanding of these. Her words shocked Li Fan. They have many names, such as gods, aliens, ancient people, and so on. Speak clearly. Don't worry, I have a lot of time to chat with you. That's fine. Anyway, your death is coming. I don't mind chatting with you. The white tiger maiden leaned on the corpse and reluctantly raised her hand to point at her head. There are a few generations of memories here. That's why I understand the heavens beyond. When our generation of humans was just born, when we were still undeveloped, these people came from a distant planet and descended on this land. They had unique and powerful powers and began to impart some of their techniques to the primitive humans of that time. Because of their powerful powers, these aliens were called gods by the humans of that time. Some people have proposed such a theory. They said that the gods of that time might have been aliens. Is that true? Li Fan fell into deep thought. In short, these high-level aliens stayed. But as time passed, they gradually lost the peace they had in the past. They began to govern themselves and led humans to war. After a few wars, humans were almost wiped out. Therefore, these alien gods decided to sign a peace agreement. They built a space station here and lived there. From then on, they no longer cared about human affairs. And that space station was called the Heavens Beyond. That's quite a good story. Li Fan seemed to understand a little. If that's the case, why are they coming to destroy the world now? The energy of the Heavens Beyond is almost used up. The white tiger maiden continued, and Earth is rich in resources. Therefore, the Heavens Beyond plans to kill all humans and occupy their living space. Then why don't they just let them come directly? Li Fan was puzzled. If they are really so-called gods, they can easily kill all the humans on Earth, right? Have you forgotten? I said that the Heavens Beyond has an agreement. They are not allowed to attack humans. If they violate the agreement, they will be punished and lose their lives. Therefore, they have to think of a way to let others do it. Previously, they chose the nine-tailed divine fox. Chapter 1472. The nine-tailed divine fox was controlled by the people of Sky Beyond. She was ordered to destroy all humans. White Tiger continued, however, the nine-tailed divine fox was sealed by the four sages. This caused the people of Sky Beyond to be very disappointed. These people could only consume their own energy to maintain the existence of Sky Beyond. However, they could not hold on for long. Therefore, in order to destroy all humans, they had to choose a new representative. So they chose you guys. Li Fan looked at White Tiger. It seems like they chose the wrong people. This seat and the other three were only in charge of guarding the door. White Tiger curled her lips. After all, this seat has left the sacred tower. My strength will be greatly reduced. However, those gods of Sky Beyond will sooner or later think of a way to destroy humans. None of you can escape. Destruction is your only ending. If humans were to be exterminated, do you think you guys can live alone? Don't forget, although you guys obtained the power of the four sages, you are still humans in the end. Sky Beyond will bestow us eternal life. White Tiger laughed. If you admit defeat now and obey this seat will give you a chance to work for Sky Beyond and obtain a chance to live. Then I'm really sorry. You might not have heard of my nickname. Li Fan's eyes turned cold. Remember, my name is Little Tyrant. I control my own fate. Fool. You will soon know how terrifying Sky Beyond is. The White Tiger girl slowly stood up. Her injuries were rapidly healing. Furthermore, you really shouldn't have listened to this seat's chat. At this moment, this seat has already relied on this pagoda to recover my strength. As long as this pagoda exists, this seat will not die. Is that so? Li Fan was not surprised at all. It was as if he had already expected this. Aren't you afraid? White Tiger frowned. She faintly sensed that something was amiss. Don't look down on humans. As Li Fan spoke, he opened his hands and pulled them together, causing the surrounding energy to gather. Concealment. Reversal of yin and yang. The energy in the pagoda suddenly gathered towards Li Fan's Taiji diagram. What? Feeling that her sacred tower's energy was being taken away, White Tiger was shocked and furious. Sorry, I'll use the energy first. Li Fan gathered the energy together and released it around his body. The Zhang Fei armor reappeared around Li Fan. This time, the armor emitted a milky white glow, and Li Fan looked like he was wearing a mech. He was like a deity. Amazing. Li Fan could not help but be pleasantly surprised when he felt the strengthened battle armor. It seemed like his idea was right. It was completely possible to arm himself with the power that Tai Chi had collected. I won't lose. I'm a powerhouse that has surpassed the White Tiger. The White Tiger girl was extremely unwilling. Her body suddenly rose into the air. The White Tiger divine bow also flew up and fused with her. In an instant, the White Tiger girl's body underwent a transformation. She quickly evolved into a form similar to Jiang Feng with a human head and a tiger body. Her hands and feet turned into tiger claws and were covered in white fur. A tail swayed behind her, giving her a strange charm. Beastman girl. Li Fan laughed, I like it. Even after plundering the tower's power, you're still immortal. The White Tiger's body also expanded to more than 3 meters tall. Her strength had increased by a lot. I'll let you know what the power of a holy beast is. The White Tiger girl opened her mouth and spat out a white ball of light. Like a cannonball, it instantly shot towards Li Fan. Li Fan waved his hand and moved the armor to slap the ball of light away. The ball of light smashed on top of his head. With a boom, the top of the White Tiger pagoda was pierced through. What terrifying power! You alone can kill at least 3 or 4 holy beast experts. Li Fan could not help but clap his hands in praise. If I didn't invent yin-yang reversal, I'm afraid I would have to drag Murong here to defeat you. Fool! You think you can defeat me? Die for this seat. The White Tiger girl instantly appeared in front of Li Fan and clawed at Li Fan's throat. However, Li Fan's eyes were filled with internal energy. He had already seen through the trajectory of the White Tiger girl's attack. He took a step back and used his shoulder to push open the White Tiger girl's chest. Because he had already transformed into a tiger and was blocked by the shoulder armor, Li Fan was unable to feel the White Tiger girl's cup. However, this did not stop him from continuing to attack. Once he made a move, it would be as easy as crushing rotten wood. Li Fan's collision caused the White Tiger girl to lose her balance. Following that, he grabbed her arm with one hand and pulled her forward. With a beautiful shoulder throw. Bam! The White Tiger girl was thrown heavily to the ground. Li Fan twisted her arm and forcefully broke the White Tiger's arm. Profound Dragon Spitting Pearl. Li Fan grabbed a ball of chi bead and struck the White Tiger girl's chest. The distorted chi bead almost shattered the White Tiger girl's chest, leaving a huge bloody hole on it. The White Tiger girl lay in a pool of blood. Her eyes stared blankly and her expression became more and more lifeless. Is this the taste of death? Generations of experience, but it seems that none of them are professional martial artists. Li Fan said, you only have strength, but you don't know how to fight at all. Cough cough. This seat will wait for you below, the White Tiger girl finally said to Li Fan, you will come and find this seat soon, you don't have to worry about that. As Li Fan spoke, he directly twisted the White Tiger girl's head. The White Tiger girl's body returned to its original state and slowly dissipated. A milky white tiger appeared in the air. Its body was faintly discernible. Finally, with a swing of its rod in the air, it turned into a familiar figure. Sister White Tiger, long time no see. I really didn't expect that you really did it. The White Tiger girl looked at Li Fan with admiration in her eyes. You have surprised me. Don't be in a hurry to be surprised. Let's talk about Heavens Beyond first. It seems that you already know about Heavens Beyond. The White Tiger girl landed in front of Li Fan. With a stretch of her hand, the White Tiger divine bow flew back into her hands. I didn't tell you before because I was afraid that you would be under too much pressure. Then I have to thank you for taking care of my weak little heart. Li Fan could not help but tease. I don't like it either, but Heavens Beyond is a terrifying opponent. The White Tiger girl spread her hands. Their strength has already exceeded our expectations. If we do not deal with it properly, I'm afraid the end of the world will really come. What should I do? Fight my way to Heavens Beyond? With your current strength, although you are already very strong, there is still a gap compared to Heavens Beyond. The White Tiger girl poured a basin of cold water for Li Fan. Chapter 1473. You've also seen the power of the nine-tailed divine fox, right? Ms. White Tiger reminded Li Fan. Her power is there. If not for the fact that she has just unsealed herself and her skills have deteriorated, I'm afraid it would be impossible for you to defeat her. I admit that there is indeed some luck involved in defeating the nine-tailed divine fox. Although you don't like to fight unprepared battles. Every time you reach the end, there will always be some risk involved. You know me quite well. Li Fan smiled. It's true that I don't like to fight recklessly, but life would be boring if there were no small risks. But this isn't a risk. It's a gamble with your life. Ms. White Tiger emphasized. If you're not careful, you and everything will turn into ashes. That's quite dangerous. I can only do my best. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders, feeling that the burden of saving the world seemed to have inexplicably fallen on him. He was only in his 20s this year. Why did he have such a responsibility? We, the four saints, will help you at the critical moment. Ms. White Tiger comforted Li Fan. You won't fight alone. Trust me. Go and resurrect the other holy beasts. We will become a part of your strength. As she spoke, Ms. White Tiger's body slowly dimmed. You'll disappear. Li Fan sensed something. I'll disappear for a while. After all, I'm already dead. What I'm resurrecting now is just a remnant soul stored in a divine artifact. Then how can I resurrect you completely? Li Fan asked. There's no way, but we can survive. It's all thanks to you. As Ms. White Tiger spoke, her body turned into a burst of white light and landed on Li Fan's shoulder. The clothes on Li Fan's upper body were directly torn apart. A tiger tattoo slowly appeared on his entire right arm and shoulder. Fuck, does this make me look like a bad youth? Li Fan looked at the tattoo and asked, dumbfounded. You already have an even more exaggerated overlord subduing tiger painting behind you. As the illusion dissipated, Dragon Lady appeared in front of Li Fan. The little girl had a calm expression on her face as she ate her snacks and chatted with Li Fan. The white tiger is parasitic on your body, so it can absorb some energy from you to maintain its survival. Of course, she can also provide energy for you to use. However, in order to activate their power, you have to expend some energy. Equivalent exchange, you understand. Looks like I can't use it for free. Li Fan said bitterly, what a scam. But you've also gained something. As a white tiger, the support I can provide you is also quite considerable. Also, you can use the white tiger divine bow, remember? That terrifying power. It's quite scary, but I don't want to use it. Li Fan shrugged. Compared to that godly bow, I prefer to use my hands. If you want to deal with the people from sky beyond sky, it's still not enough to rely on your abilities. What's not enough? I like to create miracles. Li Fan stretched his body. Speaking of which, why isn't Big Sis White Tiger talking anymore? She said a few words to you and used up all her strength. Dragon Lady explained. After all, she's just a remnant soul. It's already good enough that she can talk to you. She needs your energy to survive. Alright, it feels like I have a parasite on my body. The white tiger definitely doesn't like being ridiculed by you. Dragon Lady couldn't help but laugh. You can say that she's your hanger-on. Besides, didn't you also receive her kindness? Didn't her 4 beautiful sword servants serve you? Hey, can you not be so ambiguous with your words? Li Fan reminded her. They're just, friends. Last time, who was it that laid on your friend's lap and let your friend feed you raisins? Cough cough, then, since we're done with the White Tiger Pagoda, we should go back. I also need to make more preparations to deal with the people from Sky Beyond Sky. They won't make a move for a while. I think they'll focus on grooming their spokesperson. Dragon Lady thought for a while. You should think about who will be the spokesperson. As long as it's not Jiang Feng, anyone is fine. After Li Fan said that, he felt a little regretful. Damn, it can't really be Jiang Feng, right? Don't be in a hurry to judge. Dragon Lady reminded Li Fan. Everything is possible. However, if it's me, I won't choose Jiang Feng as the spokesperson for Sky Beyond Sky. Why? He's too shrewd and ambitious. Since he's the spokesperson, I think it's more suitable to find someone with brawn but a simple mind. For example, you. Damn, my IQ is 2 caddies higher than yours. Our dragon race is very smart. Don't underestimate the intelligence of a person who's lived for 1,000 years. Your intelligence is only limited to eating. Li Fan continued to ridicule. Alright, eat as much as you want. Don't waste your intelligence. I can't be bothered with you. You actually said I'm a foodie. Too hateful. Dragon Lady angrily rolled her eyes at Li Fan. 5 caddies of pig head meat in exchange for you not being angry. Deal. When Li Fan and the rest left the tower, in a faraway space, a man who has lived for an unknown period of time slowly opened his eyes. White Tiger is dead. His voice was very magnetic, as if it has an indescribable charm. What? 7 figures lit up at the side, each of them of a different color. Are you sure? No one in the lower realm can escape this sovereign's senses. The man's voice did not have any emotion. It's all because of your indulgence. A red figure roared. You guys have let things go out of control. Don't be impatient. Another blue figure is very gentle. Things have not gone out of control. It's just a watchdog dying. What's the impact? That person defeated White Tiger. His strength has already exceeded everyone's expectations. Perhaps this is a good signal. You're saying, nurture him into a demon king? We can try. He has this talent. What if he betrays us? Humans cannot be trusted. They are only lowly creatures. We are the ones who tamed them, but they are not worthy of trust. Alright, stop arguing. The man who spoke first spoke again. Although his voice is calm, it caused the surrounding people to quieten down. We can first test this man to see if he is suitable to become a demon king.